This week on the Steam Machine podcast. So, there was this guy, right? He comes up to us and he's like, hey, you fuck around and Two-Face is going to kick your ass. And we're like, listen, you don't want to fuck with us. With the Penguin, tear you out. Two-Face, fuck Two-Face. We don't even worry about him. And this motherfucker's talking shit to me. And he's drinking an Arnold Palmer. What kind of a gangster walks around talking shit, drinking an Arnold Palmer? I mean, what kind of guy? Did you hear something? I swear I heard something. Look out, it's the bat! Cue the music! Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Steam Machine podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me this week is one half of the Destructo Bros.
Yo, Nate's here again. Willie has the week off.
And because we're doing superheroes and we have to feature a villain, we figured who better to bring in than the villain himself, the myth, the man, the legend. You know him from YABSPOD, old Jezza Jeremy. How you doing, buddy?
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, yo, yo. That's what his weapon is. It's a yo-yo. He yells yo, and he throws it out. He wraps you up. You toast.
I'm yo-noid.
Oh, man.
Yo, 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 Lenny.
How you guys doing? What you been up to these past 2 weeks?
Yeah, man. It's been pretty decent. Like, just been chilling. Started playing some other games. I finished Batman pretty early on in the 2 weeks. I was just so obsessed with it while I was playing it. Spoiler, it's a good game. So I ended up testing out a couple other games that we've been having on for the show. One that's really kind of surprised me is I played the intro section for Kingdoms of Amalur.
Nice.
And I think that's going to be a really good game for the show. I just want to throw that out there. So shout outs to Team Retro for sponsoring us playing that game.
Yeah, I was very, very happy to hear you say that, because I know that Kingdoms of Amalur got overlooked when it came out, and that studio, that they released one game and it was Kingdoms of Amalur, and it didn't do well enough, and they fucking tanked.
Man, that sucks.
And apparently,
that's gotta suck.
It was they were called 38 Studios. Now, apparently, the dude who owned 38 Studios or ran it or whatever is a piece of shit. But hey, it's a great game. Like we've talked about before, dude. Art by the Spawn guy.
Todd McFarlane.
Thank you, Todd McFarlane. And then
Seth's brother.
Yes, the story is R.A. Salvatore. So
yeah,
fucking A. And you saw from the beginning, the opening of that game is wild, with what's going on and the fate and all of that stuff. So I'm really excited to get around to that eventually. It plays very much to me like the visual style. It reminds me of a prettier single player World of Warcraft in a way, but less just by the numbers.
Point click.
Yeah, less by the numbers and more like you're actually doing stuff. But the visuals and just how everything's really colorful, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's not just Skyrim, where I love Skyrim to death, but most of that game is a lot of white and gray. And that's why I think that's why I always go back to Oblivion, because it's just these forests of green and beautiful colors and things, and I don't know.
Yeah. I will say the combat feels a lot more fun than Skyrim combat too so far. So looking forward to seeing how in depth that gets.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see what weapons you end up on, once you get into the game and you start picking up the named weapons and stuff.
Yeah,
it'll be fun. Jeremy, have you ever played that Kingdoms of Amalur?
No, it did not seem like something that would be up my alley, just based on the cover. Not. You know how I love to judge shit by the cover. So
this game doesn't run at 4K. What? This isn't 1,000 frames a second?
120 frames per second.
Yeah. R.A. Salvatore doesn't even know how to play his instruments.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Fucking tremendous.
Todd McFarlane. I don't even like Family Guy.
So I also like did the whole I beat Batman in a couple days thing, and I dove into our next game, which I'm not going to mention yet, and I went around and did a bunch of stuff in that, and basically set it up to where I'm ready to just go play the story.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to that, and I also have been fucking around with The Witcher again. So you guys, listeners, you know how much I love The Witcher 3. Well, I had never played through and beaten the Blood and Wine expansion, so I have been doing that in my like little, off time thing. And it's like a huge departure from the normal game as far as visuals go, because like the normal Witcher game, the land is very like, you're not a hero, you're kind of just existing in this world that is not having a good time, and then you go to Blood and Wine, and the area is called Toussaint, and everyone talks with a French accent and things, and it is it's such a happier place. It's like a fantasy world almost. Like I had to do this quest where somebody had stolen the genitals off a statue, and it was this old man who was using them, and somehow they were like giving him the ability to fuck all night. So he's like, let me keep them, I'll pay you. And you have three choices. You can either like take them, let him keep them, or just be like, you can borrow them. So I said,
in his defense, marble jump stays hard, so
that's fair. So I told him, okay, you can borrow them. So he's like, okay, Geralt's like, I'll come back tomorrow for him. And he's just like, 24 hours, that's enough time for at least 3 more romps. For sure. So you leave. I just went outside and used like the Witcher trance and waited 26 hours just to be nice. And then I went in there and talked to him, and the dude's like, shh, don't wake her up. Don't wake her up. I can't take it anymore. And Geralt's like, the same girl, or whatever her name was. And he goes, no, her sister. It's like, she has an insatiable appetite. I can't. Witcher, what do you do when the mind and the soul is willing, but the flesh can't take anymore? It was just funny as fuck, like this whole quest. And then I went and returned the dick and balls to the statue guy, and he's like, thank you, come back and you will be able to stroke it for free, no charge. So then it's just little things like that where like they put some lighthearted things into like otherwise serious stories. Is just, I love it. The Witcher's so good. It's just so good.
Yeah, on the opposite end of the spectrum, I've been playing Resident Evil 2 now.
That's right, bro. How have you been enjoying that?
Dude, I like it a whole hell of a lot. It is super stressful, though. Like, we've played a few horror games for the show at this point now, and this is by far the scariest horror game I've played. Like, I'll play for like 30 minutes to an hour, but like, good God, I need to stop for a while. I need to catch my breath. And like recently, I got to this section where now there's this like giant zombie dude in a hat that's just like stalking me through the police building. I'm like, oh God.
Dude, now that you know who that is, I need to send you a clip. There's this clip that went around online of that. Do you know his name?
I saw it, but I forgot it already.
Okay, well, as long as I'm not spoiling anything, his name is Mr. X, is what they call him.
Okay.
And there's a video of somebody where that guy's just walking towards him, and he's like getting up to him, and they like pull out their bazooka or rocket launcher and aim it at him, and he just stops, turns around, and starts walking away and just fucks off. Like, it was a glitch, but that was the funniest shit I had ever seen, where he was just like, nope, not today.
I remember the first time he started following me. He's like, after he lifted the helicopter that crashed into the police building and threw it off, he looked at me and started following me. I just ran back and hid in the closet. I swear I stayed in there for 10 minutes. Like, is he gone? Is he gone? Is he gone?
Oh man, Jeremy, you've played Resident Evil 2, right?
Bits and pieces.
So my experience with it is the original on PlayStation way back in the day. So I'm interested in playing this new one because I remember go ahead.
The new one is gorgeous, and you know how I am for just
great.
Graphical fidelity. It's a gorgeous game.
I always really liked it on PlayStation. Like back then, I was used to the tank controls and everything. But if I remember correctly, Mr. X isn't in the original Resident Evil 2. That was like something they added for. Or he doesn't chase you the entire time or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think he's in it less.
But me, when I was younger, of course, it was like the Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy VII thing. My friend Emmett, he loved Resident Evil 2. I liked Resident Evil 3. Nemesis is my boy. But I still really did enjoy Resident Evil 2 back in the day. So I'm glad that you're playing that and shitting your pants. It's funny to hear your message or read your messages when you send them, and you're like,
yeah, because I'll just be playing and then I'll take a break from the game and be like, oh god, and just type everything that happened to me in our group chat, because it's been fun as hell, but stressful too. Like, I really like this game a lot.
Dude, one of the best clips from that is when they show him coming and they just dub over it with X Gonna Give It To You by DMX.
yes, dude.
So he's just walking through stalking you and that song's playing in the background.
I wonder if there's a mod out there for that where like you can hear him coming in the distance. You just see that it gets louder as he gets closer to you.
Just mod in DMX in place of Mr. X. And just have him like rapping it to you while he's coming after you.
I've seen some mods where people have changed Mr. X into different things, and it's
oh my god, dude,
tremendous.
I just saw one today. Now that Spider-Man's on PC, somebody has modded Kermit in. Or you can be Kermit the Frog instead of Spider-Man. Oh, it looks amazing.
That's awesome.
I saw that one, and I saw the they modded God of War for and replaced it with Simpsons characters. So like Kratos is Homer, Atreus is Bart. Who's the guy who comes at you in the beginning of the game with all the tattoos? I can't remember his name.
Oh, the Fated one or the Fateless one or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. They replaced him with Ned Flanders.
It's like, I thought that'd be a good one to replace with Sideshow Bob.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Dude, it just looks so funny.
Dude, I love that.
But you're talking about scary Resident Evil. Play Resident Evil 7 in VR with headphones on.
Oh god.
Like it is proper like brown pants territory.
I bet, dude, because like even like game like we've talked about a lot on this show, Phasmophobia, the couple of times I've played it in VR, it makes it a hell of a lot scarier for a game that's only kind of scary at this point. But like VR can mess with you pretty good.
My only experience with horror in VR so far was on PlayStation. I had Until Dawn: Rush of Blood.
That game has its moments of just like jump scares that are pretty epic. I have that game, and it's pretty out there.
Yeah, Nate, basically what it is like you're in a cart and it's like you're going on a track through I think it's supposed to be like a quote unquote haunted house or like a ride type thing, but
bunch of different levels, but the one is like almost like a haunted house. There's like clowns and stuff and like possessed books and things like that.
Yeah.
It's an on-rail shooter where you have guns and you're just shooting at enemies as you ride through.
Oh, I might have only had the demo then if there were more levels. That's the only one I remember.
Yeah, there was a free demo, but then you could buy the game. I think I paid like $7 or $8 for it on PlayStation Network. And there's a bunch of different levels to it. But the demo
is kind of like House of the Dead or one of those kind of old games that you'd play at the arcade.
Sort of, but instead of being like transporting you to a certain section and stopping, it's like you're on a roller coaster. And as you're riding this roller coaster, you're like shooting at the stuff that's like there's sections where saw blades come out and you have to like duck and dodge the saw blades. It's
if you can dodge a saw, you can dodge a ball.
That scene would have been so much different.
He's slinging saw blades at him.
Pings him in the head with a saw blade. He's just dead.
Yep. Oh, dude. I saw the funniest video the other day. I think it was on TikTok or something. The dude was like, if I got caught by Jigsaw, and he's like, tied up to a thing. He wakes up and Jigsaw's like, I noticed you rushed through life without looking at anything. So I left you a spoon and there's an explosive device behind your left eye. And he like holds up a plastic spoon and he's like, to save yourself, you're going to have to scoop your eye out. And he's like, nope, just kill me. Like drops the spoon. He's like, just kill me. He's like, wait, what? He's like, nope. You know how damn expensive those medical bills are going to be? No, I ain't paying for that. Just go ahead. Just blow me up. I don't care.
Tremendous. Oh man. What else have I been up to? Jeremy, have you played anything interesting these past couple of weeks?
So I finished up Batman and I started back on Farming Simulator 22 today.
Nice.
So I played it well over 100 hours. Well, I had a bunch of mods in it because one cool thing about Farming Simulator is even on console they let you download mods.
Well, that's cool.
A bunch of mods on it, hundreds of hours in, and my Xbox at the store decided to just delete all the mods I had downloaded.
No.
So I go to log into my game and it's like, oh, all this equipment you don't have it downloaded anymore, so it's not going to be there. So I'm like, well, screw this. And I just didn't play it for a while. Today, I was like, I'm going to start a new farm because there's a mod you can do like an ethanol factory. And I was like, I'm just going to do that, like grow corn and make ethanol to sell. So I started a new farm today, but I didn't get very far because people kept coming in. I don't like to play while customers are in the store. At home, I've been playing a lot of Judgment. I'm about like 26 or 28 hours into it. And I really wish you guys could play that game because that game is amazing.
Do you like it better than you liked Zero?
There's things I like better about it. I'm really attached to the characters from Zero.
Yeah.
But like in this game, you have you've got your smartphone. So when you pause, it pulls your smartphone menu up and you can open your map. You can text message people. You can, there's a thing called Kamaru Go, which is like your achievement app. So you can go in, it'll show you like all the different restaurants and shops, and there's like achievements. Like each of the restaurant, you get an achievement for eating or drinking every item on the menu. Then there's like a lot of them has secret items where you have to complete the friendship with the person who works there to get the secret menu item. But then there's a lot of stuff. Like there's one that's you can wall jump attack enemies, like run to the wall, you'll jump off of it, you have to hit X or Y and they'll do like a flip kick or whatever. You have to do that like 300 times to get the gold achievement on it. So I'm just like, every time I run across a group of guys in the street, I just keep like running against the wall and spinning back, kicking them just over and over until I get them. Now, what's cool is, in Zero, Majima had Slugger style, but that was really the only weapon you could use. In this game, you can pick stuff up off the street and use it as a weapon. So like bicycles, traffic cones, signs, all kinds of stuff. You just go to it, press B, and he'll pick it up and just start wailing at people. Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Could you?
I didn't
carry him in Zero? I don't remember that.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, that's
I was picking up stuff with Kiryu all the time and whacking people in the head with it.
I never noticed it. So, but in this one, you can do it, and like you can do what's called an EX action. So instead of what were the meters called in Zero?
Heat gauge?
I don't remember.
Heat gauge. Yeah. So in this, you have an EX gauge, and it slowly fills up. And when you fill it up, you can hit the right trigger, and you'll go like power mode for a little while. But you can do EX actions too, where like if you get a specific combo, it'll pop up. So like hit Y for EX action. And there's really cool ones, like you have your partner in the PI firm is named Kaito. So you can do stuff where like it's like a 2-person attack. Like you'll kick the guy up in the air, and Kaito will like uppercut him in the back, and then you like come down and kick him in the face and stuff like that. You can do EX. One of the coolest EX actions is if you have a bicycle, you hit the button, he like throws the bicycle in the air, jumps up and does like a spinning kick and kicks the bicycle into the person's face. Like it's just like the combat super smooth. Like I was telling Dalton about it. In Zero, you walk up to a door to go in a building and it cuts to a loading screen and then loads back into the building. In this one, you just walk up and like push the doors open and walk into the building. That's cool. It's great. Like it's just little quality of life things like that I really enjoy. But like I said, I do love Kiryu and Majima, so I definitely love the Yakuza games. But Judgment's been amazing so far.
That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that.
And the story is very engaging. It's very twist, like a lot of twists and turns. You do have tailing missions, which I've never been a fan of tailing missions.
Boo.
But they're not that, which now I'm playing on easy, granted, but they're not that bad. Like, there's a meter at the top. The person's walking. If they stop and turn around and see you, they'll be like, is that such and such? And you can go hide behind a sign or hide behind a car, and they'll just be like, oh, I guess not. And typical AI logic. It's like, is that Batman? Oh, he ducked behind a car. I guess not. I'm just going to go about my business. So like it's not too, and you tail them for a certain distance, and then it'll just pop up and say, tailing mission complete. There's chase missions where you have to chase people, and you have to quick time button presses to avoid obstacles and stuff. But like I said, none of it's stuff I don't necessarily like, but they do it in such a good way that it's not that bad to do it. The only thing I don't like, and this is across the board for all those games, is there are achievements for the fighting games in the arcades, and I suck at fighting games. It's like to get all the achievements, you have to beat all those fighting games, and there's no way I'm going to be able to do that because I'm just so bad at them.
See, I'm good at fighting. Well, I say good. I'm decent at fighting games. I am fucking awful at Outrun. I've come to find out when I was playing Zero.
I did pretty decent with Outrun. Like my first run in Outrun in the game, I got the gold achievement for like 3 million points or something like that. The same thing with there's some motorcycle racing game, like the arcade. You actually sit on the plastic motorcycle and like slide it back and forth.
Super Hang On.
Yeah.
No, it's not Hang On though. It's something else. Because you're like racing space bikes or like something futuristic. It's pretty cool though. But then there's like Fighting Vipers. There's Virtual Fighter, I think 3 and Virtual Fighter 5. There's Kamurocho of the Dead, which is like the House of the Dead game.
Oh, they actually put that in?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Okay.
So like,
I remember I saw that game was actually released for a while on Steam, and they've taken it down. So like, I'd like to try that out at some point. Oh no, I'm thinking of Streets of Kamurocho, which is like a Streets of Rage version with Kiryu and Majima.
Nice.
But
it's pretty interesting. The UFO catchers have a lot more prizes in them, and you can actually take the prizes to your detective agency and like decorate the agency with them, like set them up on the and they have like the Super Monkey Ball characters are in it, and then a bunch of like cat dice and stuff. Yeah, definitely it's worth checking out. I know it's on Series X, it's on PS4 and PS5. But apparently it's not coming to PC because I think one of the voice actors had a falling out with the studio and it kind of halted progress on it. It's like they've canned any sequels for Judgment and Lost Judgment, which sucks because, man, like Yagami is a cool character.
Yeah, that's a bummer that's not coming to PC. I remember, I think it was Like a Dragon, like when I was dabbling in that I went into the Sega building because I was like, oh, what do they got? And I saw Virtua Fighter 5, and I was like, what? So I just played through an entire arcade thing of Virtua Fighter 5 and was like, hell yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited to try Like a Dragon, but I kind of, now that I've done Zero, I kind of want to work my way through the series. And I assume the Kiwami is going to be played on this show at some point. So I'm kind of waiting for that before I start that one because I don't want to play it now and then have to play it again in like 2 or 3 months.
I can tell you that eventually all of the Yakuza games will be played on this show.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I kind of want to play through them in succession so that
I'm the same way, just because like the first 6 games are that arc is Kiryu's arc, and then Like a Dragon starts something completely different. So it's like I want to see Kiryu's story through to the end, and then I'll get into Ichigo, I think is his name.
Yeah. Oh, there's a dude in this game called Ichinose. And every time I hear it, I just start cracking up because I'm like, that dude's name's Itchy Nose.
Itchy Nose.
But it's pretty neat. There's like basically a spoiler-free plot is you used to be a lawyer and something happens. You give up law. You start being a private investigator, and people are getting murdered and their eyes are getting gouged out. So there's been like 3 of these murders. So someone gets arrested for it. And that kind of starts off like you have to prove that he didn't do it. And then in proving that, you're like, I want to find out who the real killer is. So then the whole plot basically is you trying to figure out who the real killer is. But then you've got all the side cases is what they call them. We're like finding stray cats for a dude and helping a kid find his dad. And, all the typical stuff that those games do on the side. I have not seen a guy dancing around in his underwear yet, but
then
it may be there somewhere.
Peeled.
Yeah,
no stars. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to like mod him in if they ever make a PC version.
Oh man, yeah, dude, the Yakuza games are so fucking good.
Oh yeah, I always thought I would like them. I always saw them. And I'm like, I like Japanese stuff, but I never played them. And then when you guys started talking about Zero, I was like, man, this sounds pretty good. And they put it back on Game Pass. So I'm like, all right, time to try this out. And man, I've not looked back since.
One of the many times that I'm convinced that someone somewhere listens to this show that has control over shit like that, because Nate mentioned, I don't even know if he mentioned it on the show, I think he mentioned it in our Discord, like, I'd really like to play Death Stranding, and then like 2 days later they're like, oh yeah, we're adding Death Stranding to Game Pass. And
yeah.
Like, what?
Yep. Oh, that game is so good. I love that game so much.
Yeah, I'll have to play that. That might be good to play around next month, like October too. So we'll see.
I will say allot some time because I think when I beat it, it was somewhere between 60 and 70 hours.
Do you want to know how many hours I put into Yakuza 0, Jeremy?
I don't even want to know.
I ended up playing Yakuza 0. I'm looking at it on Steam right now for 86.6 hours.
Nice.
Beautiful.
I will say Death Stranding in true Kojima form, there is like an hour and a half long cutscene at the end of the game. Like
Dude,
literally.
Kojima, I swear to God.
Dude, I remember beating that. I was at work, and I think it was like I was closing up, and I was like, oh man, there's a cutscene starting. So I start the cutscene, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, I want to go home. And like, I have to sit here through an hour and a half long cutscene.
Well, it's like, I've told the story of me and Dustin, shout out to my buddy Dustin, going outside smoking a blunt and coming back in, cutscene still going on Metal Gear 4. And then on Outside Xbox, there was like I don't even remember what the fuck the trailer was. It was just like Norman Reedus walks into this room and he looks at a box and he pulls the box down and everybody's like, oh my God, he's going to do Metal Gear stuff. And he sets the box on the ground and he hops into it, like literally hops into it and lands in a crouching position and then just sits in the box. And then like he gets out of it, puts the box up, and the whole trailer is over. And Andy just goes, what the hell was that? Just make a movie, Kojima, for God's sakes. Which, didn't Kojima just open a studio, like where he's talking about doing movies and games?
Yeah. Which he had Kojima Studios, which is what did Death Stranding. But I want to say somebody bought that. Some bigger company bought Kojima Studios. But yeah, I think he opened another one where he's talking about doing like movies and stuff too. Because my understanding is he casts people in his movies that he wants to hang out with. Like he wanted to hang out with Norman Reedus, or games, I mean. So he just cast him in Death Stranding so he could hang out with him a bunch.
That's funny.
I love the little Twitter interaction between them where like Norman Reedus put out something where like they're hardworking at Death Stranding 2 or whatever, and Kojima retweeted it and commented, he's just like, I'm going to put you in the naughty room, Reedus, or something like that. He's like, you're not supposed to tell people about this yet.
Dude, man. I think I may have put it in the Discord. I know I put it on Facebook. So in the first Death Stranding that came out, had a Monster Energy partnership. So you had like cans of Monster Energy that you could drink while you were in your travels, and they were like set up in your private rooms and stuff. When they put the director's cut out on PS5, it was changed to Bridges Energy. So like I guess they lost that partnership and couldn't use the Monster stuff because the cans were like had all the nutritional information, like all the stuff on them that a real can had. So to me, that just added to the immersion of it. Like, man, seems like it's taking place in real life, and they took that. I was like, man, that kind of sucks that they took that out like that.
Someone went to work one day and Kojima was like, I need you to model a Monster can, and probably put it in front of him and was like, and I need everything.
Yep.
It's not just the M. Like, you need to do the TM, text, and all of
everything.
that.
Everything. Like, oh man, I had the thing in my memories on Facebook the other day, and like it looked like a bunch of cans of Monster just sitting on the table. But yeah, that game is such a good game, and it's absolutely beautiful too.
Speaking of good games, gentlemen, this week, well, these past 2 weeks, we played a little game called Batman Arkham City.
Arkham City? I thought you said Arkham Origins. What the hell? I played the wrong game.
Damn it, Jeremy.
Damn it.
And this
No, I did play Arkham City.
Will lead us to the O-Dubs. Now,
O-Dubs.
I just realized that I clicked the Batman Arkham wiki, but that works. It's got the same info. So, the O-Dubs. Batman Arkham City is a 2011 action-adventure video game developed by Rocksteady Studios. It is the sequel to 2009's video game Batman Arkham Asylum. See way earlier when me and Ryan covered that game. The game was released by Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Microsoft Windows. The game was officially announced during 2009 Spike Video Game Awards, back when people cared about Spike TV.
Yeah.
And was released worldwide for consoles beginning in North America on October 18th, 2011, and the PC version in November. A Wii U version called Arkham City Armored Edition was released in September 2012.
I did not know that existed. Otherwise, I might have played it back in the Wii U days. Holy crap.
Now, here's something.
Yeah, I think I've had that come through the store once or twice. Because there was it that game that had a DS or 3DS version too?
Did it?
It was like Arkham City Blackgate or something like that.
Well, so I have... No, I'm sorry. This is a mobile game that I have pulled up the wiki that I'll touch on in a second. But what were you saying? Batman what?
I'm going to see if I can find it. Let's see.
Okay, if you're looking it up, then I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, it was Batman It was Batman... No, it was Arkham Origins. There was an Arkham Origins Blackgate version on 3DS that was a side scroller. I've always kind of wanted to watch. I've always kind of wanted to play that.
Yeah,
I'd play it. That'd be interesting.
So here's a little fact that I did not know. Arkham City was scripted by veteran comic book author Paul Dini, who also scripted Arkham Asylum. Yep. So that's cool. Like Homeboy's actually written Batman, so he knows what he's doing, and I think that showed.
It does, absolutely.
Like it really is quite good. But before we get into that, there was a spin-off to Arkham City called Batman Arkham City Lockdown. And now this was a 2011 fighting video game developed by NetherRealm Studios, the Mortal Kombat guys, and published by Warner Bros. Interactive. Now this was based on the DC superhero Batman, and is the first mobile game in the Batman Arkham series.
Does it still exist?
I'm not sure. Let's see. The game was released for iOS in December of 2011 and Android in 2013.
I think it's 11 years old. It probably doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I would assume. Well, I don't know. It says is and not was a 2000 fighting game.
That's interesting. Okay.
But anyways, yeah, it says...
I know how to find out.
I'll say, pull it up on your phone.
Right.
Set a few weeks before Arkham City Lockdown follows Batman as he attempts to capture several villains who have escaped from Arkham Asylum and are causing mayhem in the streets of Gotham City. As Batman, players fight enemies using melee combat and earn points for doing so, which can be used to upgrade Batman's stats or unlock gadgets in alternate costumes.
And no, I don't see it on the Google Play Store. So
I don't see it on the Apple's App Store either.
Now, I want to say something, though. Batman Arkham City came out in 2011. Rocksteady re-released it one time on Xbox One and PS4 in the Return to Arkham pack and PC. Skyrim came out in 2011, and those bastards re-released that game like 12 times already. So, hey, be more like Rocksteady, Bethesda. Put out a good game and let it be. And put out another good game after it. Don't just put a game out and ride its coattails for the next 20 years.
Is there heat? It's not scalding, but I feel it. Oh, man. But yeah, dude, so I just thought that was interesting that there was a phone spinoff. Like, I had no idea that existed.
I feel like that was a time when, like, everyone thought the mobile video game market was going to become a massive thing instead of just this, like, watered-down ad revenue stream. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff getting put out on mobile.
Yeah, there was definitely potential, and I think there still kind of is, but they're not taking advantage of it at all. Like, and I think most people are kind of where I am, where it's like, I would rather not play a game on my phone. I say as I have Pokemon Go pulled up.
I think the problem with it though is because you look at like Nintendo. Nintendo got into the mobile game market with there was some Me Universe game, but like the first game anybody cared about was Super Mario Run, which was a good game, but you could pay like $10, buy it, and you got the whole game. Well, they hardly made any money off of it, and then they put out was it Fire or I can't remember if it was a Fire Emblem one or if it was Animal Crossing first. But I know like Animal Crossing came out, it was free with microtransactions. They made like $1 billion off of it.
Yeah.
So of course all these studios are like, let's put out the inferior game that's going to make us a ton of money through microtransactions versus having to make an actual, because I mean, I'm going to say 80% of the mobile game market now is absolute garbage. That's just, hey, click on this for 30 seconds. Then we're going to show you a 30-second ad.
Yeah. Well, see, even like Nintendo, like I don't like how they're still doing their mobile games because I was paying for a subscription to Mario Kart Tour, their Mario Kart, and it's an okay game. Like it plays fine, races are fun, but then even if you're paying for a subscription, the microtransactions they still ask for to get you to unlock anything is so ridiculous. And like finally they released some characters that I really wanted. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get these characters to have the subscription. I have all these coins saved up. And I didn't get the characters I wanted. I wanted Dixie Kong really bad. And I didn't get her when she was available. And I was like, screw this game. And I deleted that off my phone and stopped paying the subscription after that. Because I was like, if I can't even get the things I want when I'm paying for it, then why do I have this?
Bro, what game was it? I think it was Phantasy Star Online 2 did a crossover with Persona 5. And I spent $10 to get some currency to pull the gacha thing that they had for it. And I got a costume for a female character from Persona 5, and I'm a male, so I can't wear it. And I'm like, dude, that shouldn't even be possible. Like,
that shouldn't be an option.
Yeah. And I was just... that was before they did release the Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis or whatever, but it's just kind of... It soured me a little bit on it, like you said. And now, like, the other day, I was like, oh, I'll play some Phantasy Star, and I clicked install, and it was like it's like 100 and something gigs now, and I'm like, that's just not worth that much space on my computer.
Nope.
At least not at the moment. If I can get another, SSD, then that's a different story. But, but man, so interesting. So the prologue of Batman, right, at the very beginning. I'm going to let Nate, if you remember anything about the opening cutscene, I skipped it on accident when I was first starting. So if you want to talk about the cutscene, I can come in when you're doing the walk in the beginning. So
yeah. So the beginning of the game, basically, you start off and you see Bruce Wayne is running for mayor because he wants to shut down what has become Arkham City, which is inside of Gotham City, which is like this city where basically they're having like a city where all the inmates are running around doing whatever they want to within the city of Arkham City, which is the prison, instead of just like, having a real prison. So he's kind of running on the justice platform. And while that's going on, Dr. Hugo Strange and his men all come in and start kidnapping people, including Bruce Wayne, to throw them into Arkham City, the prison itself, which is fun political prisoner stuff. And so Bruce ends up getting taken in along with people like Jack Ryder, and a few other media personalities, the news folks. And he's walking in, and immediately people are like, "We're gonna get you, pretty boy Bruce. We're gonna take your millions of money from you." Like everybody was just like talking shit to him as he's walking through. And then finally he starts to get into the prison, and one guy kind of stops him. I forgot the word, the voice lines and things he says. It was like, but he points at him in a certain way, like a finger gun kind of thing. And it's funny because later on you find out, well, you don't find out, but you can kind of, because I watched the cutscenes again after I beat the game, like, that was Deadshot.
Yeah. Yeah, that opening scene when you're walking in, the guy looks at you and he does that with his fingers. That's Deadshot. And then also during that scene, I'm trying to find it, who it was. I'm trying to remember. I think it was Red Hood, but I'm not 100% sure. When you're on your way in, if you look to the left, there's somebody struggling with the cops, and that's another Easter egg, and I'm trying to remember who it was.
I don't think I saw that one.
But I'm looking through this list, and there's just so many Easter eggs in this game that I'm like,
yeah, there's, dude, yeah.
Which one was it? But I think it was Red Hood.
Okay, Red Hood. Oh, I'll say, well, if you wanted to look that up, I was going to keep going. You kind of just get in there, and the first person you actually really run into is Penguin and his men that just immediately start. Dude, I want to say this early on in this game. Penguin, he is so bitch made, dude. He does nothing for himself. You know what I mean? It's so finally Bruce Wayne's in front of him. He's like, I got you now, Bruce. I'm going to kill you with this iron knuckles or brass knuckles or whatever he has. And then Bruce just kind of knocks it out of his hand and punches him one time, and Penguin runs away. And he's like, get him, boys.
But now that's pretty true to his character in the comics too, because he's always been a facilitator more than anything. He rules by fear, but he has everybody do everything for him. And then when Batman gets his hands on him, he's like, "Oh no, please don't hurt me." Yeah,
which is and throughout the course of the game, I just feel like he continues to show that just how bitch made he actually is.
I don't know about you guys, but the way they designed his face really bothered me. That thing over his eye being in his fucking face and not a monocle.
Yeah.
Just creeped me the fuck out, dude.
It looked to me like it was a Coke bottle that had been cut down and kind of shoved in there,
Yeah, it just gave me the willies.
Yeah, the character models in this game, I think they look really good. Like, I don't know if this is like an upgraded version for PC or whatever, or if this looked that good when it came out, but it looks really good still today.
Oh, well, I don't know how it looked on PC back in the day, but I can tell you the way we played it looks a hell of a lot better than how I played it on PS3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say, because I played it on Xbox One and it was not great, at least by my standards.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah,
my standards are pretty high, but it was like noticeably an older game.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's still noticeably not like top tier new graphics, but I think for when the time that it came out, it looks really damn good.
It's like the same about how I felt when we loaded up Portal, and I was like, damn, Portal looks really good for being as old as it is.
Yeah.
You know? It's just the person I was thinking of was not Red Hood, it was Black Mask.
Yeah, Black Mask.
Oh, okay.
When you're entering, you can look to the left and you see him. He is resisting 2 tiger guards who eventually subdue and beat him.
Okay.
So I'm just going to run through this because this is all the familiar faces thing. So, like you mentioned, upon entering line A criminal blocks his path and says that Wayne is on his list and then makes the gun motion with his hands. This is Deadshot, who hints at his mission in Arkham City.
Yeah.
When Bruce Wayne, along with other political prisoners, are confronted by the mass of screaming inmates, Azrael can be seen watching from a nearby rooftop, and this could imply that the Watcher in the Wings knows the Dark Knight's true identity. After rescuing the medical staff, there is a man to the left of the church in a gurney with bandages on his face clutching a box. The doctor says that he was recently transferred there, and he stashed medical supplies and cut his own face off. This is Hush.
Yeah, it is Hush. You actually run into Hush later in the game, too.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. Yeah, and when you go back there later, that gurney is empty.
Guy's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just creepy.
Yeah. And, like, after you get through, like, that first little Batman section, like, you're playing as Catwoman in this game, too, which I thought was a really interesting touch on top of, like, you know how Arkham Asylum, you were just Batman in a kind of a smaller area. This game, you're, like, Batman and Catwoman in this pretty big map. Like, it's not like huge open world like some other games, but I feel like it was a pretty decent square footage for a game.
Oh yeah, dude. And wait till we get to Arkham Knight eventually, because then you're in Gotham. Like,
you're in Gotham, but it's way bigger. But you do have the Batmobile, so you can actually drive across. Because like Arkham City was big enough to feel large without it taking you forever to traverse across. Yeah. Because like with just your grappling gun and gliding, you don't want it too big where it's taking you forever just to get to where you need to be.
And that's what I really liked about it too. Is like once you got familiar with the map and you kind of knew where things were, it was kind of easy to get around and know where you wanted to go and how to get there at a quick amount of time. Like it felt really good in that way.
Yeah, and with the gliding and the zipping and all that, once you got good at that, you know, it wasn't too much. And it's like when I was like on PS4 when I was playing Spider-Man, like you had a decent ways to go, but because the swinging felt so good, it didn't bother me to just make my way there, even though you could go down in the sewers and fast travel if you wanted, which I thought was hilarious. You ride the subway. Or not the sewers.
I think when I played Spider-Man, I only fast traveled once the whole time I was playing the game because you had to. And like other than that,
it's just swinging. Yeah,
I just swung everywhere.
But yeah, I felt the same in Batman, where it was like, you know, I can just glide for a while and then zip up to something, and you get that ability where you can like double tap X.
Yeah, the grapnel boost. I like that a lot. Just keep flying forever.
I do want to bring up one gripe I had with this game, and it may be because of the era. You're talking about Spider-Man. Like in Spider-Man, you can go in the pause menu and you can change your costume at any time. In Batman Arkham City, you have to close out your game and open it back up to change your costume, and that just seems so tedious to me to have to do that whenever I wanted to change costume.
Yeah.
And you had to, I don't know how it was on Xbox, but on PC, you have to beat the game before you can change your costume at all.
So, on Xbox, you didn't have to. You could just...
Oh, that's cool.
Change it.
Yeah, Adam mentioned that too. Fuck you guys. Like, I don't understand what... Like, I had to wait forever to be Batman in the gray and blue. It was 70s Batman or something.
That's something else, too, is Batman. While there are some good costumes, I didn't... Like, there could have been a better selection of costumes in the game. Like,
I
feel
agree
like there
with
could have been more. There weren't that many.
There weren't, but I don't think they were really going for that a whole lot, which... In that the case, they might have wanted to not just not do it or have more options, like you said. But like Some of them actually also looked really weird. Because, like, did you try the Batman Beyond costume? That looked so bad on Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, you're just like this big, beefy Batman Beyond.
It looks
it looked so bad on Bruce, dude.
And for some reason on PS3, and this is probably just my memory, like, editing itself, I thought I remembered the Batman Beyond costume, like, making you smaller and making you look like Batman Beyond. But when I put it on in this one, I was like, oh, that just looks fucking weird. It's
wrong.
Like Gimp Batman.
Yeah.
And then the animated Batman looked interesting too.
And now the costume choices could have been limitations for the time too, because like we're a little spoiled now with basically limitless games. I want to say Arkham Knight had a better selection of costume or skins you could use, but I played that a long time ago. The only thing I remember about that game is how hard that damn race was at the end of it. So bad.
Now, Nate, you played as animated Batman, and you said that it was cool, but it stood out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, like I liked it. I thought it looked really cool, but like you're animated Batman, and then you go find one of Penguin's thugs to fight, and you're just like, this doesn't look right at all.
Oh, tremendous! So what was it? So like once you get through that beginning area, and you really open up and you start running around, I think who was the first thing that you end up doing? Is like.
First thing you really do as Bruce Wayne is you have to go save Catwoman, who's gotten into it with Two-Face. And so, like, that part actually led to one of my favorite lines in the entire game, and my new favorite line Two-Face has ever said. But, like, so you finally get to where so when you get there, Two-Face has Catwoman, like, strung up above, like, a vat of boiling acid that he's going to lower her down into after flipping his coin. And, like, the part of it goes, like, Catwoman's looking at him, like, Two-Face is like, I'm going to flip the coin to decide whether you live or die. And Catwoman's like, which side lets me live? And he flips the coin over, hits it on his hand. He's like, not this one. And so he goes to cut her down and put her into the acid. And she's just like, swipes away and slashes him across the face. And then knocks the gun out of Harvey's hand. And she's like, oh, no gun, Harv? That's too bad. This is gonna hurt. Then you see Two-Face just reach into his side pocket and be like, 2 guns, bitch.
2 guns, bitch. Boom.
That line just cracked me up. As soon as I saw that, I just started posting that in our group chat, like, 2 guns, bitch.
Oh, man. I love Selena Kyle.
Yeah.
Like, and when while I was playing this, and because you were watching Batman the Animated Series, it made me go watch some Batman the Animated Series. And I didn't remember, because I did watch some of it back in the day, I didn't ever remember that very first episode of that show where, like, Batman and Catwoman kind of meet outside of being, they meet as Bruce and Selena, and they don't know one's the other, but Bruce kind of has an idea, and then they find out at the end. And so because I always wondered, like, why there's this weird sexual tension between Batman and Catwoman throughout, like, everything that they're in, and I always wondered why. And I'm sure it came from the comics and all of that, but I finally got to see something of, like, where it came from in the animated series, and I was like, oh, so, like, years of closure in one moment. It was awesome, and what a great show.
There was one scene in that show where, like, it may have been Selena Kyle. It was one of the female characters talking to Bruce Wayne, and he said something, and she's like, "You're the only one," or what she say? Only one of us is being controlled by their parents in this room, and, like, basically taking a jab at Bruce for, like, being Batman.
That's funny.
So okay, while I'm thinking about it, the women in this game were Selena Kyle, so Catwoman, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn.
Yep.
You already know where I'm going with this. Fuck, marry, kill. Catwoman, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn.
That's so hard. That is so hard. I don't like having to kill any of them.
Yeah.
But I think I do have my answer.
I feel like Mary would have to be Selena Kyle. Like, it just feels right with Batman and Selena Kyle. Like, and I just want to be Batman. I definitely feel like I would want to fuck this game's Harley Quinn, though. Because, like, she's just going to be dynamite in the sack. So I guess that leaves the inevitable.
You're going to kill Poison Ivy then?
I guess, if I have to.
What about you, Nate?
Yeah, I think I'm going to marry Poison Ivy. Like,
Right.
she can turn me into one of her drones all she wants. I'm fine with it. Have you seen her? And then have to go fuck Harley Quinn because, yeah. And unfortunately, that means I have to kill Catwoman. I hate this.
Oh, man. I think I'd marry Catwoman because I've always had a thing for Selena Kyle. I don't know if it was Halle Berry's fault or like what, but like I've always had a thing for that character. I almost agree. Oh, I just knocked my microphone. I almost agree with Jeremy because I bet that Harley Quinn would be just a blast. But Harley Quinn seems like the type of girl that there is not going to be just a one-time thing. Like she's going to call you and she's going to be outside your house. A new girl's going to come. And when she leaves your apartment or house or whatever, Harley's going to beat her with a hammer. Like, you know, like she's used to the Joker. And okay, real quick. I don't know about you guys, but it's always driven me nuts when I see people on Facebook that are like, I want to love like Joker and Harley.
Yeah,
like,
it's so toxic, dude. You do not want that.
I'm like, oh, really? You want to be controlled by a fucking psychopath? Like that's...
Yeah.
You want to be perfectly
treat you
fine?
like absolute garbage.
Yeah, no, you don't want that. Like either side of that relationship you do not want.
That's when I know that they're not comic fans. Because no comic fan would say that. They're like, fucking Harley was completely normal till she met Joker.
Yeah. Well, like Harley actually first appearance was the animated series. Like she comes from the animated series, not even the comic books. And the whole story with her is she was a psychologist that the Joker manipulated into becoming his personal servant. Like,
So I'm gonna kill Harley and I'll fuck Poison Ivy, even though I feel like it's gonna leave me itching for days. It's gonna be rough.
My thing too is if you go down on it, does it taste like lettuce
or mint? There's all kinds of
vegans
plants
out there might like it. I mean, come on.
There you go.
I was just curious. All right, now let's do villains. Hold on, let's do villains now. Fuck, marry, kill. We're gonna go Mr. Freeze, Penguin, Two-Face. We all know that we.
I have a very strong marry on this one, and it's not just because he was played by Arnold Schwarzenegger in a movie, but just look at Mr. Freeze's dedication to his frozen wife Nora, and tell me he would not treat you super well.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And who are the other two options? I see you said Penguin and who?
Two-Face, because we would all kill Joker because he sucks.
Yeah. Then I'm gonna fuck Two-Face because I want Big Bad Harv side of him to come out. Flip the coin and let's go, baby. And then kill Penguin. Like, who would want any relationship with that guy?
Yeah. Like, is there an option to kill myself in this scenario?
I mean, I guess that's always an option. We don't encourage it, but
I would probably mirror what Nate said because, like I said, Freeze is a lot of dedication. Plus, if you have sex with him, your dick might fall off.
That's fair.
So, yeah, and I don't think anybody wants to have sex with Penguin. That's probably why he is the way he is.
That's fair. That's fair. Some an Easter egg about each of these, or each character in each. So one about Harley Quinn, kind of like the Joker. So when you first go and you first meet Harley Quinn in that, for one, when she goes cartwheeling up to you and you just punch her.
You just whap.
And she just hit, ouch! Or whatever. She walks up and she goes, "You be handling me, Bats. Mr. J's not feeling himself right now. I mean, he was earlier, but we're not talking about that." And I'm like, oh, it's a fucking jerking off joke. Nice. Like in a Batman game. I appreciate that. And then I didn't get to see this. I guess I forgot to look when it first happens, but apparently whenever Mr. Freeze in the game, which, yeah, he's in this game, by the way, whenever he finds out where the warehouse is that Nora's in, when you leave the police station or whatever, there is an ice path going across the water straight to the warehouse. So like he just went outside and was just like, "Psh, I'm coming, Nora." Yeah,
because I noticed that because I went back that way after I found his wife and told him where she was, and then I saw like, wait, this path of ice was not always here, was it? And then I followed the path of ice and went right into that building. I thought that was a really good touch.
You know what's messed up? I don't think I ever found his wife and told him where she was.
You're a bad Batman.
He's just still there waiting for me to come back.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't do that this playthrough. That's probably why I didn't see the ice. I did it on the PS3. I did everything in the PS3 except all the Riddler trophies.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking kudos to you, by the way, Nate, for getting all of the Riddler trophies. This is a lot.
Speaking of, I had a question specifically for this. What was one of the worst Riddler trophies for you guys?
So I spent most of the time not looking up any of them because I wanted to figure out how to do them all myself. But there was a couple of the combat ones that I didn't quite understand. Like, there was one that said do a grapnel boost takedown. I was like, what the hell is a grapnel boost takedown? Yeah. So I looked it up, and apparently if you, like, use your grappling hook right next to where an enemy is, and then you do the grapnel boost command, Batman will just fly up there and slam into him and take him down.
Nice.
That's tremendous.
So, like, I didn't know that was a thing, so I had to look up how to do that one. So, like, some of the combat ones were some of the more difficult ones. Like, not just, like, getting a 20-hit combo, because that's kind of easy, but, like, using all these specific moves, like, do an aerial attack off of one enemy onto another kind of thing.
Oh, and screw these Arkham games for one thing. The way it kills your combo meter when you, like, counter somebody. Like, I have, like, a 14, 16 hit combo. Somebody goes to hit me and I counter them and it goes away. I'm like, that's bullshit. It should, that should count towards your combo.
I agree. It should keep it flowing.
Yeah. Like, until you actually, like, either stop hitting people or you get hit and your momentum stops, that counter should keep going.
Yeah, the annoying ones for me were, like, the enemies that had, like, armor. So if you were trying to continue with armor, and then you were like, punch this guy, then you punch the guy with the armor, it broke your combo, and that made me so upset every time.
So I'll say one of the Riddler trophy, probably the worst Riddler trophy I tried to do was, it was in, I want to say it was Amusement Mile. There was, like, 6 of the question marks on the wall, and they were all caged in. Mm-hmm. So, like, the way to do it is you're supposed to put your explosive gel on 3 of them.
Yeah.
And then try to run through and, like, batarang the other 3 within a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And, like, screw that one, man. I just struggled so much on that one.
So, okay, actually, I just remembered one I had to look up. Because there was, like, you remember the section where you were in, like, the, like, I don't know what it was called. It was, like, kind of between the sewers and, like, the Wonder Mile or whatever place. You remember how that kind of weird, like, broken down city kind of area?
Yeah.
Well, there was one that was, like, up in this ledge that you could only get to by throwing your ice grenades down into the water, then grapnel boosting up to where that was. Like, you had to do a grapnel boost indoors. And it was just like, man, I would not have figured that one out without looking it up, and that one made me kind of sad.
Yeah, I never found that one.
Some of them irked me because I'm like, how do I do this? And then I would look it up and I'm like, oh my god, that's so simple, and just do it like first try. Like, just sitting there trying to figure out how to do it.
Oh yeah, there were some that I would just sit there and stare. I was like, I know I can figure this out. It's like, so part of that time, like, I spent in this game was just me staring at Riddler trophies, trying to parse out in my brain how to get them.
Man, so the one that annoyed me the most, I ended up having to I just, like, asked Nate. I'm like, dude, how do I do this one? Like, what the fuck? And it was, so standing back on the building across the way, there was a question mark kind of down and to the left, and then, like, up and a little bit more to the left, there was one over here. Then kind of, like, centered in front of you was another one. But then the fourth one that you had to hit was way the fuck over. So I was getting really good with batarangs because I would throw a like the remote controlled batarang, and I would aim it where it needed to go, and I would kick off of it. And when you did that, it would still keep flying, right? So I would do that 3 times in quick succession, and then throw that fourth one. And I had just enough time to hit that question mark if the fucking thing, like, 3 feet from the question mark, didn't just, like, run out of signal. Like, it was just out of reach. So I ended up messaging Nate, and I'm like, how do I fucking do this? And he goes, oh, you just put your explosive gel on 3 of them. And I went, son of a bitch, that's right, you can use explosive gel on these things.
I forgot you could use that, and I was like, how the hell do I do some of these? I looked one up, and it was like, I was like, oh, son of a bitch. Yeah, and just like, that made it so much easier to get a bunch of them.
I will say that playing Arkham Asylum right before playing this helped me a lot to remember. Because this game doesn't really, in my opinion, go into how to use all of your side weapons as well as Arkham Asylum did. Either that or I skipped the tutorials. But like I don't remember it saying how to use the gel. I don't remember it saying how to use the remote control batarang or all that kind of stuff.
I think that they heavily rely on you having experience with Asylum because they start you off in Arkham with most of the gadgets that you had at the end of Asylum.
Yeah.
That you didn't have at the beginning. So you learned as you went through Asylum. You know, it's almost like this is one of those series that you should play in order. You would benefit from playing them in order just from learning things, you know?
I agree with that.
So what did you think was the hardest boss fight?
Hardest boss fight?
I struggled a lot with, I think I told you guys, like that Joker fight. Because you had Joker, but then you had the dude with the hammer, and then you had the big Titan. And there's just so many enemies. And I like using the ground takedowns where like somebody's knocked down, you just go over and like, slam their head. But it takes so long for him to do it. If you get hit, it stops. So yeah, you're sitting there like halfway through it and some dude comes up and hits you. But like I put a thing in Discord was like, screw this Joker fight, it sucks. And then like beat it the next try. I was like, okay. But like I took out the hammer dude like really early on, and I was like, okay, once I got him done, like the Titan guy's really easy because you just like swipe him and jump on his back and ride him around. And once I got them out of the way, the rest of it was easy. The Clayface fight was kind of like, wasn't hard, but it was tricky, like trying to dodge all his projectiles while hammering him with those ice bombs.
Did you notice, and this is another Easter egg, when you're fighting Joker and he's like all better, if you kick on your detective vision, he has no bones. And if you kick on your detective vision with anyone else, you can see their skeleton. Yeah. It's a fucking dead giveaway that's Clayface. And that's such a cool fucking touch. Like, it
was smart. Like but for me, I think one of the hardest boss fights ended up like, 'cause I didn't think any of them were too crazy. Like, I think the Solomon Grundy one was a little bit difficult, but I didn't die on that one. But once you figured it out, you kind of just had it. But that one took a minute to figure out.
That was my thing, is I kept trying to put the bombs where Solomon Grundy was, and I kept getting hit. And I was like, what the hell am I doing wrong? And I happened to put one on a vent, and I saw it blow up, and I was like, oh. And like that was probably the easiest boss fight once I figured out what I was actually supposed to be doing.
Yeah, see, that's how I felt about that one too. But the one that I thought was kind of the most difficult was probably the Mr. Freeze fight. Because you had to come up with because he would cut off your access to being able to hit him in the same way twice. Yeah. So you had to come up with like 5 different ways to hit him, which I thought was a pretty cool way of them making you put together use of all that you've learned in the game of how to hit people. But gosh, it was like, how do I come up with this 5th hit to get on him? Because I've already done a sneak attack. I've already done a drop attack and all this stuff on him.
Although I gotta say, it was fun to do, though. That fight was a lot of fun to play.
That was my hardest fight. That was the one I was going to say was Mr. Freeze, man. Because I don't know if I just wasn't paying the fuck attention in the beginning, but I did not realize what the fuck I needed to do to hurt him. And I was like playing and I'm running around. I'm like, how did I do this on PS3? What did I do? I don't remember. How did I do this? And then I think Batman was like talking to himself or something. He's like, I need to hit him with the electrical gun or some blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I started doing that. And then he's like, it was the transmitter thing where you were like fucking with his suit and you do it like twice. And he's like, that's not going to work on me anymore, Batman.
I never even did that on him.
You like pull that thing out and you do it. And then he fucks the transmitter up thing where you can't do that anymore. So then I was like, okay. So then I moved from that to, I think, the electrical gun, and then he does something where that doesn't work. So I'm like trying to figure out how I'm going to hurt him the last couple hits, and I ended up doing the explosive gel with the walls.
I did that one.
But, dude, I mistimed one and was like, oh no!
I did the magnet on the wall. Like I sucked him into the magnet. I did. I went in the floor grate and surprised him.
That was the last one I thought of to do, was going to the floor grate.
And I remember doing the wall, but I can't remember what else I did.
I know there was one where like you could lure him to a certain area, and there was like wires on the ground that if you turned on like the electrical box next to it, the wires and the water would electrocute him for a hit.
I think I did do that one,
That is the first time that I heard him, and then he froze that puddle, and he was basically like, fuck you, Batman. Shit ain't gonna work twice.
I thought that was a really neat fight.
Yeah, that was a really ingenious way to handle a boss like that. One of the things I struggled the most with was the damn enemies with guns. Like, when you go into the top of the tower where Hugo Strange is, there's like 6 guys in there with guns. I died so many times in that room because I'm like in the floor grates waiting for one of them to get close. And I would jump out and do like a silent takedown, and somebody else would see me. They'd start shooting at me. And before I could get back in the floor grates, they kill me. So then I started being like, all right, well, I'm going to use my disruptor and like shut off 2 of their guns.
Yeah.
Or like jam their guns. Then somebody else with an active gun would see me and kill me. Like, it took so long for me to get through that section.
Yeah, you had to really think about how you wanted to take out people with guns. And sometimes I would just sit in a room and not do anything for like 5 minutes until I saw the perfect opportunity to do a silent takedown on one and then go back to hiding and wait for another opportunity.
Yep.
So I have to ask. I have this thing in video games where if I know that there are enemies in water that can hurt me, I just get really anxious about being in the water. Like in Red Dead 2, where the alligators can get you and shit. It makes me nervous. Grand Theft Auto, you swim out too far on accident, you fall off your ship or boat or whatever, a shark gets you.
That's because you're from Florida, where the alligators will get you if you spend too long in the water.
And sharks, both. We have both. Yeah. So, and it might be that there was that time that from like me to my wall back here behind me, a gator surfaced in front of me while I was in a lake. And let me tell you, homeboy turned into Jesus and walked on water that day. I basically ran on the surface back to the fucking shore. Dude,
everybody I know from Florida has a close call with a gator story.
It's fucked up, man.
I love that viral video that showed up recently with the old man like went outside with a frying pan, like smacks the shit out of a gator. The gator runs off.
That video cracks me. He's got a cast iron pan, and that gator is just hauling ass towards him. And as soon as that thing opens his mouth coming at him, he just whap on that fucking gator's head, and the gator turns around and fucks off. It's like, not today.
Gator was like, "Damn, sorry, man. Shit, I just wanted to talk to you."
Yeah, he's like, "You have time to talk about?"
I'm just here to talk to you about your car's extended warranty.
Yeah. He's like, "I just wanted to know if you've heard the good news."
Well, that section in before you get to Penguin, where you're having to save the guys who are frozen around the room, and you're having to walk across that ice.
Yeah.
Fucking anxiety ridden through that whole part because I'm like, please don't break. I really don't want to watch Batman get eaten by this big ass shark again. Because I saw it like 4 times. Because the first time I thought that I could roll over this gap. And I did it the first time, and I guess I glitched because the next 2 times I tried, I rolled right into the water and died. But that area was wild. And then having to, once he like melts that big ice thing and you're having to rely on your ice grenades and then pulling yourself across, I was just like, I hope there's no time limit, or if I'm out here too long, this fucking shark's just going to eat this entire ice block, because it was a big old shark in there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I noticed like when you finally got onto like the rafts, which was initially the way you got around before you had the grenades that you could throw ice into the water, that there was one section where the shark just came up and took a big chunk out of one of your rafts and you had to punch the shark in the nose with a quick time event.
Yeah. And I'm just like expecting that to happen more often, and I'm just like, oh god, get across. Batman, you can pull harder than that. Come on.
Quicker. The way you'd pull yourself across is you take your grappling hook, attach it to this hook on the side of the wall, and just start pulling it in. And you had to like tap A to pull it in. So like you were just sitting there waiting for something bad to happen to you while you did that.
Yeah. And you have to traverse that room like, I don't know, 1,000 times or whatever, having to go back and forth.
Like it.
It's like,
what kills me about these kind of games, like you have a grappling hook. There's all kinds of shit in the ceiling you could just grapple to. Nope. Gotta walk across the ice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like there's literally posts all throughout the water you could just jump to. And nope. And gotta cross the ice.
I died as Catwoman because I thought that obviously she's Catwoman. She's probably going to be able to just hop between the top of these posts. No. No, that's not how you did it.
That's funny.
Which, speaking of Catwoman, you mentioned that, you get to play as her and everything. And I really thought that was integrated well. Now, that was not originally in the game.
Oh, really?
Catwoman was a DLC for the PS3 version, and when you bought it integrated it into the story. But now that this like definitive edition or whatever it is that's part of the bundle, you get all the DLC. So it just integrates it like it's part of the regular game. So when I first played, I didn't play through. I didn't get to play the Catwoman stuff. So some of that was new to me. I did get the DLCs eventually back in the day and play them, but like, I don't know if I played through the entire game again after I got the DLCs though. You know what I mean? Because I think even like back then the costumes were DLC.
Yeah, I remember all the costumes were DLC, and then at one point they were just like, it's all free now.
Yeah. So like this is completely my first experience with the game at all. So like for me, this was all new.
Yeah. You're getting the best of all of the Batman games going through now because they're all older and definitive editions have come out, and you get everything. It's wonderful.
I will say this is the first time I ever played City. I played Arkham Asylum. I don't know if I beat it or not, but I remember playing a pretty good bit of it. I beat Arkham Origins, which Dalton told me, Nate, I had to tell you definitely need to give that game a shot. It's from a different studio. I don't think it has Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill as the voices, but it's still pretty close. But it's genuinely a good game. Like it's it goes back to like earlier Batman, and I think it takes place all in the same day or the same week or something. Like it's a short time frame.
That's how a lot of these.
It's really good.
I was gonna say that's how a lot of these games are, because Arkham City technically takes place in one night.
Yeah,
Arkham Asylum
one day too.
Yeah. So,
but I will say I have a hot take about Selena Kyle. I did not like playing as Catwoman in this game.
Really?
I just did not like it for some reason. Like her combat was smooth and stuff, but I think I'm always a brute in games where I can have the choice. So like I love Batman because he's just intimidating and powerful and just beating the hell out of anything in sight, whereas Catwoman's more
finesse based,
agile and finesse. Yeah, like I didn't really enjoy playing her parts of the game.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, like there's also in the DLC packs and stuff, there's like missions that you can go in afterwards, and you can do fights as Robin, and you can do fights as Nightwing.
Yeah.
I did not like playing as Nightwing at all.
Just quick, because you mentioned Robin and the fights. If you go into the Joker's Funhouse fight as Robin, there's a chance that Joker will say, "Didn't I kill you already?" Like referencing the Death in the Family comic. I just thought that was an interesting Easter egg.
Pretty sure there's one of those in Arkham Knight too, but you play as Nightwing a lot in Arkham Knight.
You do,
and it's actually, I really liked him in Arkham Knight because he's very quick, but his combat's very fluid. He's still really powerful, and Arkham Knight's a phenomenal game. Like I'm excited. You can skip Origins and play Knight because Origins is a prequel game, so it doesn't really matter what order you play it in.
Yeah.
It is worth playing though, but like Arkham Knight, you'll dump probably like 60, 70 hours into that. Like it's, especially if you want to get everything, but like I said, there's a race at the end of the game. I don't want to spoil too much, but there's a Batmobile like race at the end of the game. A buddy of mine, when the game came out, we were talking about it. He said he literally got so frustrated at that race, he twisted his Xbox controller like this to the point the batteries popped out of the back of it. Like he was so frustrated. I know, like Dalton, did you beat Knight?
No, I never beat Knight. I did play some of it though.
Did you play that race at the end?
No. I never got that far.
Like it's, I don't want to spoil anything of it because I know Nate at least is going to play it, but like it's so damn frustrating.
Yeah.
But Knight is one of the games, and I don't know if City did it too. Knight, you get an ending, but if you 100% the game, you get the true ending of the game. So like I beat the game, and then I was like, all right, I got to go get all the Riddler trophies and everything so that I can go back and get the true ending for the game. And it's a lot of work. I was working swing shift at the time. It was the night before I started third shift, so I usually would stay up all night and sleep the next day. So I'm like, pulled my laptop out, had the Xbox on the TV, and was like, all right, Riddler trophies, locations, and just sit there, like looked at every single one of them I didn't have up, and like went through and got all of them. And it's about like City, like some of them are a bitch, some of them are super easy. But yeah, I went through 100% of the game, got the true ending, and it was great.
What I remember reading about Knight, and then we can get back to City, but like, was that it was there were two sides. There were people who absolutely loved it, and there were people who fucking hated it. And a lot of it came down to stuff to do with the Batmobile.
Yep.
People were
that
like,
would be the one bad thing I would have to say about it is they added a driving mechanic to it, and you get the Batmobile, but it was like
vehicle platforming.
Well, they're kind of like, yeah, there's vehicle platforming in the game, which fucking sucks.
It's rough.
Yeah.
But like they were basically like the devs were like, we got this shiny new toy. Let's make 70% of the game make you use this toy. Like there's too much Batmobile stuff in it.
Okay.
But it was awesome. The Batmobile, and it's cool as hell. It like, you can change form from like car to almost like a crab tank where you can like move laterally and stuff. So there's a lot of combat missions that use the Batmobile, but like it's integrated very well, but it's a little too much of it because it's like I said, they thought it was really cool, so they were like, let's just make everything Batmobile. So, but I mean, it's neat, and like I said, the game itself is awesome. Arkham Knight is one of my favorite like ancillary characters in the Batman universe. Like his design is so cool. I remember I had like one of the little mystery minifigures of Arkham Knight, and I was like, man, like his costume is just so cool.
Yeah,
and,
he is cool looking. I'll give you that.
I will say no spoilers, but they do reveal who he is in the game. That's something that I was avoiding spoilers when the game came out. I was like, I don't want to know. I want to find out for myself. I was so glad that happened because it's just, that game is, the story in it's so good.
Nice.
For sure. It'll
I'm
come
looking
up
forward
on
to
the show.
getting to it for sure.
Yeah, it'll come up on the show. I can almost guarantee it. So
I don't know if I want to play that one again because it's long and some of it's tedious, but
fair.
Yeah, it is a really, like I said, they take what City made and they just evolve it into kind of like City evolved Asylum. So Night just evolves City and just makes it so much more large and in depth.
Yeah.
Did before we get onto like the Ra's al Ghul shit, because I have some things to say about the trial of Ra's al Ghul. Did either of you get the ending that you can get with Catwoman?
I don't think so.
The end? Oh no, because I remember I asked you to do it specifically because I didn't do it.
Yeah. So when you're playing as Catwoman, Jeremy, and you're walking and you have the briefcases, and she looks to the right and she's like, "You can leave." You know, what does it matter? It's just some guy. Yeah. And then she looks to the left and she's like, "No, she's like, you know, you love him. You need to go save him." She doesn't say that, but it's basically what you get out of it. I went right. I was like, let's see what happens. And I had seen it on Outside Xbox, but I wanted to see it for myself. So I walked out and she starts walking up the stairs and she just goes, "Screw him." And she walks off and the credits start rolling. And after about a minute and a half, 2 minutes of the credits, Oracle's voice comes on. Barbara Gordon. She's talking about, "Please someone send help. They killed, like, Joker won. Everyone's dead. My dad's dead. Batman's dead. The Joker has won. Please someone come help us." And then it's like a VCR rewinding, and it rewinds through the credits. It rewinds through Catwoman leaving and all that, and goes back and basically puts you back where she's walking, and then it gives you the choice again. And I almost made the same choice just to see if it would do it over again, but I didn't. At that time I went and I saved Batman. But yeah, that's a little secret, like, I won't call it an Easter egg, but it's like a little secret ending that's not really an ending. But
yeah, they kind of do that with the Far Cry games too. Yeah.
Like in Far Cry 4, when he tells you to wait 10 minutes, he'll be back in 10 minutes. If you just sit there for 10 minutes,
if you wait 10 minutes, he comes back and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to make you a lieutenant or whatever," and you just become part of his criminal empire game. Far Cry 5 does it. When they tell you to handcuff Joseph Seed, if you don't, you just wait, and it's like you finally like I think your guy drops the handcuffs and just leaves or whatever.
Well, no,
the credits roll.
No, he's holding his hands up, and the sheriff lowers Homeboy's hands, and he goes, "Forget it, rookie. Let's get out of here." And the court martial dude's like, "I'll arrest all of you," and he's like, "Go ahead," and y'all leave, and that's the end of it. Yeah, it's funny how they added that in there, but yeah, I thought it was interesting that Batman does it.
I'm curious if they did that in 6 or not.
Yes,
I never looked into it, but
in 6, when you're on she gives you this boat and tells you that you can leave, but really you're supposed to stay and help. You can leave, and when you leave, you start hearing on the radio about how the militia uprising has been killed and all of that stuff. Yeah, it's interesting. So after you deal with the Penguin, which let's talk about the Penguin fight itself. I forgot that I had to have that certain item to do any damage to him or whatever. So I'm in there like running around trying to shoot Penguin. He's blocking all my shit. And I'm like, why? Why can't I hit him?
And let's point to this being another moment that you see how bitch-made Penguin is, because his whole deal is he just stole Mr. Freeze's gun. He's trying to shoot you with Mr. Freeze's gun, so you have to be able to disable the gun in order to get to Penguin to damage him.
Yeah, that son of a bitch. And I had to go back and get the disruptor thing because I hadn't gotten that. And yeah, I felt like an idiot after 10 minutes of realizing that that's what I needed. I was like, man... But yeah, after that, Penguin's easy. You just run up, you turn that thing off, and you punch him in the face.
Punch him 2 times and he's gone.
Yeah.
Again, Penguin's bitch made.
And I love what they do with him. It wasn't bad. Was it Freeze that like throws him in the museum exhibit and locks him in there?
No, he's just hiding there because he doesn't want to get caught by anybody else's goon, so he's just sitting there hiding there. He's like, oh, Batman, you weren't supposed to see me here.
No, I swear, when I played it, like somebody...
You might be right.
I forget who it was. Somebody, it was either... Might not have been Freeze. It might have been the...
Two-Face?
League of Assassins woman or Two-Face or something.
Oh, Talia.
Grabs him, opens the glass thing and like throws him in it and closes it, and then if you go back to the museum later, he's still in there just like sitting on the floor.
No, the League of Assassins chick, I had forgotten about that. When she breaks out, she's like,
that happens right after the Penguin fight, and then once after the Penguin fight, you get dropped down to this next floor, and that's where you find out that he's also continuing to be bitch-made, has Solomon Grundy down there for you to fight.
Yep. That's right. That's when that happens. Yeah, and then that's the fight where I think it took all of us a minute to figure out that we had to blow up the vents.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
And then after that is when you get to where the assassin chick pops out.
That's right. Yeah, and she's like, you aren't worthy to speak the name of Ra's al Ghul. And then she like slices. I don't know if she cuts you or cuts somebody. She fucking hauls ass, and you chase her. And I failed this once.
I do not like in games when they do that kind of thing where it's like follow the blood trail.
Yeah,
and it's like it's just like it feels like false longevity. It's like instead of just having a chase mission or something, it's like, oh, figure this out, follow this blood trail.
Might I say
Arkham City did it less often than Arkham Asylum did it.
True.
Yeah. True. I'll say then, Jeremy, that if you ever played the Hunter Call of the Wild, you need to be very accurate with your gunshots.
Oh, yeah.
Or else you'll be following a blood trail for a fucking long time looking for that thing that's running away.
I played it, and I think I failed the first mission because I would just shoot the animal in the head. Like, bitch, I ain't chasing you through these woods.
But yeah, so you end up tracking the chick, and she takes you to, I don't remember the name of that. Was it Wonder City?
Wonder something. Wonder.
It was Wonder City, but it was what Nate was talking about. Is like the ruins. It was like the ruins of the original Gotham. But it's like because they tell the stories like Gotham. There was a massive flood or something. Yeah. They basically just built a new city over top of it. So you're in there with like the mechanical guardians and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it's really a cool area. I got lost in there. I could not find my way out. Once I did the stuff in there, and it took, frustrated. I was like getting flustered, mad, trying to find my way out of this place. Like, dude, where like you get like shortness of breath because you're so angry.
Yeah. Finding the last mechanical guardian took me forever. Like I had one left and I could not find it anywhere.
But that area was cool as hell. And then you make your way through. You have to do the demon trials. Am I missing anything in between there?
No, but one thing we didn't actually mention at all was the fact that Batman's been poisoned this whole time.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because Joker's got some shit going on from the first game.
Yeah, you get to the top of the church and like Harley and Joker are up there, but like you see Joker's body like limp in the chair, and Harley's like, he's dead, crying. Batman walks up to him and he's like, you hear like a voice. He's like, you fell for the fake Joker gag, and like jumps up behind Batman and like puts something on his face. And then he's like, oh, my blood is poisoned and now you're poisoned too, so we'll die together.
In which, at that point, that's Clayface.
Yeah.
Like, which still blows my mind that they put that in. That's just so cool. But
I did not put 2 and 2 together on that until the very last. Like when you're in there and like you see Joker like all poisoned, but he's like putting his lipstick on in the mirror, and in the mirror he's fine. And then he's like starts talking about it, and then Batman like runs all the events that happened through his memory. And it's like, I'm like, oh snap, I bet that's Clayface. And you see him like start changing. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, it is badass. But yeah, so yeah, he's got whatever is going on with Joker, he injects it into Batman, and then that starts affecting Batman. Like at certain points, like you'll be walking along, and all of a sudden he's like, and drops to his knees.
Which is also funny to me. Like you'll go from he can barely walk to just beating the ever-loving shit out of like 12 guys and not even getting hit. And it's like, dude, like pick one. Like, are you on your deathbed, or are you fit as you've ever been?
Yeah.
But
well, he said that's why he ended up following the assassin, because he needed to talk to Ra's al Ghul to try to get this extra part for the cure that Mr. Freeze needed, because they needed to find a way to make it stabilize so that a person could take the cure.
Yeah, because Freeze said like when he gave the cure to anything, it like deteriorated that person's DNA or whatever and killed him. So he's like, we need something to stabilize it. He's like, I know someone who has something like that in his blood. And Freeze is like, well, go get him, bitch.
Yeah.
So you have to like go follow the assassin and find Ra's so you can get some of his blood, which of course you get there and Ra's is like, I ain't just giving you my blood. You got to take over the League of Assassins. And Batman's like, I told you all the time, old man, I don't want to take over your damn club.
yeah.
And he's like, well, you're going to do it. You're going to marry my daughter. You're going to run my empire.
And you're going to like it.
Yeah.
And the Batman's like, okay.
Batman's like, I just like to bang your daughter periodically when she's in Gotham. I'm not ready for a commitment.
But so then you have to go through the demon trials, which is where you drink a vat of what I'm assuming is like ayahuasca or some really good mescaline, and then you just like get transported to the demon trials is the technical term of it. Like, and
get transported to Hyrule.
I had a really tough time with this part because up until this point, I never really utilized the where you're flying and then you can dive bomb and then swoop up and then dive bomb and swoop up. I had never really fucked around with that, and you absolutely had to fuck around with that in this part.
Yeah.
So I failed numerous times before I finally the last time I got to do it all in one go. Once I finally figured out what I needed to do.
Yeah.
But man, I felt it was another system where this game made me feel dumb. I was like, how did I not realize that that's what I needed to do was follow that fucking trail he's leaving me?
I failed the first time, and then I was like, oh, what's this trail? Let me try to follow it. And then I didn't have any issues with it after that.
Just following the trail is all you needed, really.
Yeah, and once you get through that, it's not so bad. The fight with Ra's al Ghul.
That was fight, cool. I failed that fight a bunch of times.
Oh, really? I thought it was pretty easy, but like I thought it was interesting the way they pulled it together. It's like... You had like the giant Ra's al Ghul that started like shooting like things around.
Oh yeah,
it was like a bullet hell.
No, the part I got screwed up with is when you had like the gang of the sand people.
Oh yeah,
and like one of them would be Ra's, and he would like attack because I sucked at blade dodging. I could not get blade dodging right.
I didn't like blade dodging either,
and like that I'd always get killed or get down to like 1 bar of health in that fight because he would just pop out of nowhere and cut you, and if you went after the one that was him, it's not him anymore.
Yeah.
But so finally I just kept like blind luck. I would catch him and do what I needed to do. Because I'll say the combat is difficult at times, but it's fair.
Yeah.
I can't think of any of the stuff where I was not like, this just isn't fair. I thought that when you had to help Bane get all the Titan formula or whatever, when you go back in the elevator and you're like, all right, Bane, I destroyed all of them, and he had all... I was like, damn it, I don't like fighting. Like, I love Bane. He's one of my favorite rogues villains, but I don't like fighting him in these games. Yeah. I'm like, man, I don't want to fight him, and like he charges at you and you just duck out of the way and lock him in an elevator. I was like, oh man, good.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too, because like, you know how like when you fight a Titan, it's kind of like that Bane fight was. Yep. But they actually kind of like, I felt like they made the Titans a little bit easier in this game than they were in Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And I also agree that I did not want to fight Bane because I was like, this is going to be a Titan fight on steroids.
I don't want to do this. And then just like he dodges out of the way, lock him in, and then he's in there crying like a bitch while you're blowing up all his drugs.
Yeah. Dude, it's funny if you go back in there with Catwoman too after that, because you walk in there, Catwoman's like, oh, Bane, hi there. He's like, Catwoman, let me out. She's like, no, I don't think I will. And just walks away.
Oh, I love Catwoman so much. She's such a snooty little bitch. I love it.
Speaking of Catwoman, when you go in the vault, did you try to pick up her plant to bring to her?
Yeah.
No.
Poison Ivy asked you to bring back this plant for her, and like that's why she agrees to help you, because you're like, yeah, I'll get you your plant back.
Yeah. It's like you pick it up and Selena's like, screw her, and just like drops it on the ground and like stomps on the plant, like twists her foot and just like squishes it into the ground.
It's mean, Selena. Why?
Yeah, like for no reason. She could have just helped Poison Ivy, and she's like, nope, I'm just gonna. Or what she said, she's like, try to strangle me with your plants or something like that, and just like destroys it.
Yeah, so mean.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I did that, and then I died in that fight, and it put me back before I did that. So I was like, I'm not going to do it this time. I'm just
Dude, the exact same thing happened to me.
I was like, I'm just leave it.
I did the exact same thing.
Nice.
Wouldn't Poison Ivy feel that? Doesn't she have like a connection to her plants?
I want to say Selena makes a comment about that too. Like, I hope it hurts or something like that.
I gotcha. Man, I beat this game so long ago that my brain is hazy after this. So like after that, I know you take the thing back to Freeze, and he makes the cure.
Right.
I do not remember what happens after that, though.
He puts the cure in the safe. Or no, that was before. He goes to the safe, and like the safe is empty, and there's like a note from Joker.
That's right, the Joker card.
And he's like, Joker took my wife. Or like he said, he tells you he had to give Joker the cure because Joker had his wife.
Yeah, because that's when you do the Mr. Freeze fight, because he puts the thing in the safe at that moment. And Mr. Freeze is like, yeah, I'll give you the cure after you go save my wife. And that's when you have to fight Freeze. Yep. And then while that fight's going on, like Harley Quinn busts through the back of the safe and steals the formula out.
Yeah.
That bitch. And then from there, I guess the rest of the game is going to get Joker, and then also Protocol 10 going down, because you keep getting that announcement. Yeah. Protocol 10 will begin in 30 minutes, and things from Hugo Strange.
Yeah. So Hugo Strange, the guy that, locked you up as Bruce Wayne at the beginning. Who knows Bruce Wayne is Batman, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, before you can go after the Joker and all that, you have to stop Protocol 10 and Hugo Strange, because all of a sudden, all these missiles start coming down once Protocol 10... So what Hugo Strange had ended up doing was he's just going to start bombing and killing all these villains because he wants to create a more perfect world without all of these criminals in it. And so
Protocol 10 was basically lock all the criminals in Arkham City and then just kill them all.
Yep. So Batman has to save the day from Hugo Strange, and he has to climb the tower and get up there, which was a pretty fun platforming section. I enjoyed doing that.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, Like I said, I had trouble with once you get to the top and you have to get by 6 guys with guns.
Yeah.
There was one moment in that climb that I don't know what happened. My Batman just decided to fucking hop off the building. And it didn't let me glide. It just was like, oh.
I'm through with this.
Reset me. Yeah, it was just, my Batman was just like, I'm going to die anyway. But yeah, so you end up, there is no Hugo Strange fight, right? It's like you get up there and you're dealing with him.
No, you get up there and somebody else comes in there.
Ra's al Ghul.
That was his Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
Because apparently this was all Ra's al Ghul's plan. This was one of his big missions with the League of Assassins. He hired Hugo Strange to do all this for him.
Yeah.
Instead, is like the political face of everything.
Well, it was... Ray said, like, if you do this, I'll let you take my spot and you'll have immortality.
Yeah.
And then Hugo's like Batman stops him and ends Protocol 10, and Ra's is like, stabs Hugo Strange with a sword. And it was like, he's like, I thought I was going to take your place. He's like, well, you failed to the Batman, so obviously you don't deserve my place.
Yeah.
And basically just kills him there. And Hugo's like, haha, bitch, and presses a button, and it was like starts a bomb timer.
Protocol 11.
Yeah, Protocol 11 just starts beep, beep. And so you have to jump out of the tower with Ra's as it explodes behind you.
And that
very
sword
Michael Bay-esque.
And when you land, like, the sword ended up going through Ra's al Ghul's body.
Yeah.
Another Easter egg. If you go back to that spot later on after you've beaten the game, Raish's body is gone and the sword is just sticking in the ground.
Nice.
So I'm sure the assassins came and got his body to put him into the Lazarus pit.
Yeah. And I just want to say, this game made me hate Hugo Strange so fucking much, dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. He's a bastard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hugo Strange is something else. Yeah, that race thing was cool because they're like falling and he's like fighting and then he just stabs himself and lands on like the pointy fence. And so Batman's on the thing, I think talking to the Oracle, and she's like, "What happened? We saw the tower explode." Blah. He's like, "Where's Ra's?" And he's like, "He's gonna need a Lazarus pit pretty soon."
Yeah.
And then from there, I guess at that point you're just going to get Joker, right? At the end.
Yeah, you're going to get Cure Joker and all that.
Yeah. Now, something that just clicked with me is it this? No, it's Arkham Knight. Never mind. I think it's Arkham Knight. Did this game begin with a scene with Joker in the very, very beginning?
No, you're thinking of Arkham Knight.
Okay. Then never mind. We won't go there.
Don't spoil that.
Yeah. We won't go there.
That was pretty big part of the Arkham Knight story.
Okay. So anyways, so then you're going to stop Joker. So Nate, I'm gonna let you take over because, like I said, my brain's foggy on it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit foggy on it too. But so anyway, you get there to fight. You finally have the cure. You finally get. I think you get to use the cure finally on yourself, and there's one dose left over for Joker, right?
Yeah.
And so you begin to struggle with Joker, and Joker ends up accidentally breaking the cure for himself.
Well, it's like you're standing there holding it because you beat Joker, and you're holding the thing, and Joker's like, he goes in a big monologue about how, like, even though I'm evil and you know I'm going to kill people, you're going to save me anyways because you're Batman and blah blah blah, and like then Joker like throws a knife at Batman or something, and like Batman dodges it. It hits the vial, and the vial falls on the ground. Joker's like, no, and Batman's like, and as horrible as you are, I would have cured you. Yeah, and like then like Joker ends up like, he's like, that's pretty funny, and then he dies, and like Batman walks out to like all the police and shit that are outside of the city, and like lays Joker's body on the hood of the police cruiser.
It was really sad because like Joker's dead. Like I was like, I did not expect to feel sad for the Joker's death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And somewhere in that time frame, you fight fake Joker who was Sandman. Oh my god, that's Spider-Man. Clayface the whole time.
I do have a couple questions about this section. Did you guys have as much trouble as I did with all of those snipers?
No. I died to him one time, and then I realized just take out the people at the highest ground first and work your way down.
Yeah, that's what I did. Was like I just silent took down and I would use my disruptor to like if there were two of them together, I just use that, take one of their guns out, and then attack the other one. You could do the silent takedown while the other guy was trying to figure out why his gun wasn't working, then just run over and take him down too.
I didn't realize that.
I did die a couple of times, but then once I figured out the height pattern, like Nate said, you just started with the highest guy and just work your way down. You just, I mean, it's Star Wars logic. You just have to have the high ground all the time.
I died a few different times trying to do this because they just kept being like I would take one guy down, and I guess somebody just on an opposite building that was just a little higher, as like what you guys were saying, would just spot me, and like immediately there would be like 6 lasers on me, and just blah 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 blah, and they would blow me to smithereens.
I will say one of the first things I upgraded was my ballistic armor, so you could take more bullet shots because guns were a pain at times to deal with.
Guns were just they were my nemesis in this game. I hated the guys with guns.
But yeah. And then, like we said, the game ends on Joker's death. It's like, damn. Yeah.
And then Batman's like, there's more for me to do in Arkham City, and just like grapples back in.
Yeah.
Because he's a glutton for punishment.
Now, at that point, I started trying out cheats, right? Just to see. And one of the cheats that I had for under WeMod, which is just like a PC trainer system, was there was one-hit kills. So I was like, that'll be fun. So you go in there and you're just one-hitting killing everybody. But it also one-hit killed you. So it was like putting the game on easy mode and the hardest mode, because it was like if you
easy mode with permadeath.
If you just like did not dodge, just the slightest little would nail you. And then like you said, the guys with the blades. So I ended up cutting that off. I was like, fuck that. But playing with like unlimited health and stuff was fun. Just running around being actual Batman, where Batman's not going to die, But I did actually save that for after I beat the game this time instead of beating the game with cheats. But one other thing before we close off, because I got a list that I will run through, and then we also have our giveaway to do.
And we have a lot of fan questions. So I'm going to be quick about this. The Clayface fight. I thought it was kind of cool the way you had to like throw the grenades at him and stuff to freeze him up, and he would finally freeze, and then you had to cut him apart with a sword. Yeah, that was really cool.
And then later on, the fight with him in the big theater, or no, that was the same thing. But after that, it was the I think you fall through the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he becomes the blob, and he starts sending out the people at you.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I got real good at like lobbing the grenade over the motherfuckers that were trying to fight me and get it into Clayface's mouth. And I was just like, oh, it was so satisfying. And then just go back to fighting dudes and then just chuck a grenade. And really, that fight wasn't hard, but it was fun.
No, it
though.
wasn't.
It was fun.
Like it was fair. It was fair fight.
Yeah,
I think the closest thing to an unfair fight is like what you were saying earlier, Jeremy, about the Ra's al Ghul, where he was just randomly there or wasn't. Yeah.
All right. Well,
I did have one more thing about the game to bring up.
Yeah, please.
And I don't want to go into detail on it, but I think that if you get the game and there's something called Harley's Revenge, which is a DLC campaign where you play mostly as Robin in it. That was pretty fun. I'd recommend playing through that as well. But then there's also the Riddler challenges, which is the reason I'm not going to 100% the game. It's basically you just have to do a lot of very much same kind of thing over and over again, which is like a bunch of fight sequences, stealth sequences. And like you did it during the game enough, and I just don't want to put the time and effort into doing it perfectly to get all the trophies.
Isn't it stuff like beat a bunch of guys without using counters and stuff like that? Like it's telling you like,
some of that in
beat
there.
These guys without using this specific thing, or beat these guys, but you have to do this.
Or beat these guys, and one of them is invulnerable as long as they have this green color over them. Yeah, it's stuff like that. It's like, I'm not into this. I just want to play the game.
Yeah, I feel you there, man. Well, then, that's Batman. So, before we get into listener questions, if we were going to give this game a rating, I would give it a 9 batarangs out of Joker cards.
Why do you gotta be the exact same as me, Dalton? I was also sitting at a 9 batarangs out of 10 bat signals, just because I think it's a really great, fun game. But, like, it's really good and fun. It doesn't compare to Yakuza 0 in the same way. I think the combat might actually be more fun, but overall, I think Yakuza 0 is a better game.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a little more harsh than you guys. I'm going to give it a 7.5 batarangs. Just because, like, it was a great game. Very good game. I feel like it could have been slightly more polished. But it's just, I feel like it's a good game, but it does show its age a little bit. So I take a little bit out for that. But yeah, I feel like Knight's a better game. I don't want to say better, but it's more my style, I guess.
Yeah, more for you. Yeah,
much more polished, much more like to do in it. But yeah, it's still a very solid game.
Yeah, I do want to say, like, one thing I really appreciate was them using so much of the animated series cast in this game for the voice acting. So good.
Yeah, for sure. And just to give the listeners an example of the leap between City and Night, what was Arkham City? Like 20 gigs, 26 gigs, 16 gigs, something like that?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Arkham Knight is 70-something gigs.
Yes. I'm curious now. I'm going to look on How Long to Beat.
How Long to Beat is actually really similar for City and Night.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I feel like there's not really... Well, I think what gets them, especially in Completionist, is the Riddler trophies. Because, like, if you're going to do all the Riddler trophies, the Riddler challenges and all, it takes a long time. So, but yeah, I would say 7.5, maybe an 8. Like, I think I could do an 8 on it, because it is a good game. Like, it's worth playing. There are better games out there, but better Batman games, not a lot.
Yeah.
Although I have to say, I'm super excited for Gotham Knights. I really want to see how that game comes out.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
And I don't know if it's still happening or not. There was talk of Rocksteady doing a open world Superman game.
Ooh,
And
okay.
if they did that, that would be. I even wrote out like the perfect plot for it to like, because you can't just be Superman. The game would be too easy.
Yeah.
So like my thought is like Lex Luthor basically set off like almost like a kryptonite fog over the city. So like it's weakened Superman. Like as you progress through the game, the fog lifts a little bit, so you get a little bit stronger and a little bit stronger. To like at the very end, you're like full blown Superman, and you can just go around in like the after credits game, just beating the crap out of everybody.
That'd be cool.
That would be sweet.
So
All right. Well then let's jump into the fan questions then.
All right.
First one up from Fenris. Gentlemen, if you could choose any 3 games to play for the rest of your life, and only those 3 games, what would they be and why?
I got this real quick. So, 1, you need a game with a good story and takes a long time to play. So the first one, Dragon Quest XI. I'm never going to get tired of that game. Love it. Next game, Yakuza 0. Great story. You can play that game forever because there's just so much random stuff to do. And plus, the humor in that game will keep you going and laughing, and just being able to sing Judgment in the karaoke. That's like, I could do that for a long time. And then finally, Hollow Knight, just because it combines a lot of the things I love in video games. Beautiful, beautiful looking graphics, artistic direction in that game, and just a good, fun, hard platformer.
Oh yeah. Persona 5, The Witcher 3, WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2006.
Nice.
Or 2007. They're interchangeable. The Persona 5, because I love that story. It's super long, and even to this day, as much as I love that game, I've never collected all the Personas. Got to catch them all. Witcher 3, because... So, okay, I wanted to bring this up on this episode. I think that The Witcher 3's combat is like a happy medium between Batman-style combat and Dark Souls-style combat. Because it's fluid and punchy like Batman, but it's also like unforgiving if you fuck up, if you're not playing on the easiest difficulty. So like I think The Witcher like is like right there. So like Nate, I know you've been interested in Dark Souls, but like you've been wondering if you want to pull the trigger or not. I would say like I know you like Batman's combat. Play some Witcher one day, not like rush to it or anything, and see how you like that combat, because you can die real easy, and then wonder if you want to play a whole series that is more punishing than that. Yeah. It's like it's just something that I was thinking about. But The Witcher 3 story is tremendous. And the DLC stories are fantastic. Like, and the combat's good. The world is fun to explore. There's still shit in that game that I haven't seen, and I've put hours and hours and hours and hours into that. And then the WWE games, like, I fucking love wrestling games. Like, that is like...
There's a lot to do in those games, too.
Yeah, you could always create a new character and come up with a new gimmick. I've talked about this before. I'm a nerd. So when I create characters, I will like come up with their whole thing in my head. Like how they would be in the ring, how they would cut promos, like when they turn face and heel, why they turn face and heel. Like I do all that. I play all that in my head, almost like a self D&D game that I'm playing out with wrestling, right? And maybe it's because I've always wanted to be a booker, like writing storylines for wrestling and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like I always thought that would be interesting. But that, and then like there's the story mode, and then you have universe mode, and back then you had GM mode, which they did implement back into 2K22. And while it's good in 2K22, it's not as good as it used to be. It's just not as in depth, and I think that they will continue to improve upon it, because the fact that they even added it back into the game was major. People have been asking for it for a decade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the older games, it's just there's a lot to do, and like you said, there's just hours and hours and hours, and there's always something new to do. And it's like a fighting game. You go back to it, it's not going to be anything new. It's just fun to play, So that's my 3 choices. What about you, Jeremy?
So first off would be Farming Simulator 22. That would be just a game that you can dump hundreds and hundreds of hours in. There's so many different ways to play it that for a boring ass game, it never really gets stale. Like, and it takes so long to do anything in that game. Like, I spent an hour and a half probably today just trying to plow a field in. Like, it just takes so long to do. Secondly would be F122 because same thing.
Two so far.
I love F1. And there's like, there's my team mode, there's my career mode, there's online racing, there's like ranks and stuff you can do online. There's a lot to do with it. You can just do time trial. Like I'm doing time trials in Canada just to see how good I can get and how far up the leaderboard I can get. The third, having difficulty choosing between Yakuza 0, Judgment, and The Last of Us Part 2. Like,
one of these things is not like the others.
Yeah. But they're all three very good story games that are just so fun to play. Like I said Last of Us Part 2 over Part 1 because there's just a little more meat on that bone. But like that's my favorite video game franchise is The Last of Us. I absolutely love it. But I'd say one of those three, I'd probably just like roll a dice, see what I get. Because I'd take any of them. There's actually really cool in The Last of Us Part 2. Once you beat it, you unlock like cheats and stuff, and you unlock visual filters. And there's actually a visual filter where it's the entire game is cell shaded art, and it just looks so cool.
Nice.
Borderlands.
And there's like
game.
Like I went through and played through it again with like unlimited ammo, unlimited crafting supplies, one hit kills. And they just, just made the game, put it on God mode, basically. So, like, you just running through, like, there's a bunch of zombies. You're just like, pat, 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 and just kill them all. I think you can turn on, like, auto aim and stuff, too. Like, just walk through the game. But, man, it's so much fun. I like getting those cheats after you beat a game where you can just feel like such a badass just walking through that game. Like, this is not hard at all.
I always appreciate an unlockable cheat.
Oh yeah,
I like cheats. That's well known.
I like to make it through the game without them, if at all possible. Like I play the game for the story. I want to know the story. So like once I get through it though, and I want to play it again, I'm like, I just want to beat this as quick as I can.
All right. Next question's from Adam. I don't know how much I'll be able to contribute to this question, but like, what do you feel makes a good Metroidvania?
Oh, wait, before we do that, I'm curious, Dalton. You said you were 2 for 3. What was the third one you thought I was going to pick?
I didn't know, but I knew that you were going to say F1 2022 and Farming Simulator.
Yeah.
I knew those. I was like, I'm 2 for 2. And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, I have no idea what the third one's going to be, but I knew the first two. So, Nate, I'll start with you because you are the resident Metroidvania fan of the show. Like, what do you feel makes a good Metroidvania?
Yeah, so I know one thing that people don't like about Metroidvanias is the fact that there's a little bit of backtracking involved. Like you unlock a new power-up and then you can do certain different things in the area. I think the thing that makes a good Metroidvania is that where the map design for that does not feel tedious. Where like you get a new power-up and you're like, okay, I kind of remember seeing something where I think this might be useful. Like say in Hollow Knight, you get one of the ones that's kind of like a ground pound, and you remember walking over something that was like a crumbly brick bridge that you couldn't get down through. You're like, oh, but with this ground pound, I can now get through that. So just like when the map design lends itself to being able to see things like that early in the game and immediately thinking like, oh, I bet I know how to break through this in the future. And there's a few games I think are good at doing that, Hollow Knight being one. I think that Metroid Dread does a really good job of that too now. And I think just like map design and being able to traverse the map and know what you need to do is really helpful. Because there's been ones that I've played where, you get a new power up, like, great, now what do I do with this?
Yeah, for sure. Two that jump to my mind that aren't Metroidvania games, but they have that mechanic in them. Arkham Asylum.
Yep.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because, fuck, I can't get past this tree till you learn cut.
Cuts.
I'm not going to learn cut after I beat the next gym, and then I need to swim to get across this water. And I don't think people think about that stuff, like when they're like, man, I hate Metroidvanias, like me.
Yeah.
And I don't hate them, but they're just not my favorite.
Yeah.
But I fucking love Pokemon, and I deal with that shit on there. So, like, I think I'm going to I'm going to, like, go along with what you were saying. Like, I think level design is a major deal in Metroidvanias. Like, if your shit's boring to traverse, no one's going to want to go through it over and over and over again. If you can be at the top of the level and fall all the way to the fucking bottom, no one's going to want to make their way back to the top, Yoku's Island Express.
Exactly. And the funny thing is you bring up Batman again, and I think that's these Batman Arkham games are the closest thing that I've played to what I feel like would be a genuine 3D Metroidvania.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, well, you can't get into this door until you go get your shotgun, or, you know, yada, yada, yada. Like, there's definitely different things that, yeah.
Especially like Batman Arkham Asylum, like, you see these breakable walls and don't have a way to break them, and then you finally get the plastic explosives out of the Batmobile, and you're like, oh, there's so much more stuff I can go see now.
Yeah,
I remember in City they even do that where there's like there's a Batman and a Catwoman Riddler trophy in a room, and it's like, you can't get these yet, but hold down your detective mode button and you can mark it for later.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a good introduction to that mechanic for sure.
Yeah.
Something that me and Nate realized, and I don't know, maybe you did, is that you absolutely could not pick up Catwoman's trophies as Batman.
No.
But you could pick up Batman trophies as Catwoman.
Yep.
like he was only going to shock Batman and be like, Batman, those aren't for you, old Riddler.
And that's what was weird to me is like he put trophies out for Catwoman, but was not involved with her at all. Like never said anything to her about them. Never like anything.
Yeah, that's a good point. DLC privilege, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
How did you guys like the Mad Hatter section?
Oh, dude, that was so cool. I forgot about that when you brought it up. I love that Mad Hatter section.
I don't remember that. Refresh my memory.
So you were going to do something and you just like fall out and you wake up and you're like tripping basically.
So what happened?
Like
what happened was you get a radio communication says there's a drop for you on top of this building.
Yeah. Alfred said they had worked on the cure and they dropped it for you to go take it. Yeah.
So you go get the cure from where Alfred dropped it for you, and then like you're hit with this knockout gas, and then suddenly you're with the Mad Hatter.
Wow, I don't remember that at all.
It was an optional side quest, so you might just not have Trevor triggered it.
Okay, that's possible. That's very possible.
It was neat though, because like you fight these goons that are wearing like White Rabbit masks, but Hatter is in the background controlling them. So what you're trying to do is get past them and hit him, and you have to do that like 3 or 4 times, and then finally Batman like hits him, and he puts like a mask on Batman or something.
You know what that mask reminded me of, Jeremy?
Donnie Darko.
Yep, Frank from Donnie Darko.
Because it's like a black rabbit mask. But like, I didn't really get the point of it because you kind of just like, I think you just tapped A or something and Batman took it off, like takes the Hatter's hat, throws it on the ground and stomps it, and then you go back to real life. And Hatter's like, what did you do? You ruined
I think that was
hat.
showing because Mad Hatter was able to control your mind with these masks, and it was showing Batman's power of will, that he could just use his willpower to fight off of it.
Okay. Well, Jeremy, do you have any opinions on what makes a good Metroidvania?
Yeah, 2 things. You take the Metroid out and you take the Vania out, and then you just let you just beat people up like in Batman. Good to go. I'm not a huge fan of 2D Metroidvania games. Stuff like the Arkham series, I don't mind. But yeah, I don't like constantly going back and forth through the same stuff over and over and over again. It's just not. That's like part of the reason I don't like Dark Souls games. I don't like fighting the same boss 150 times in a row. So
that's fair.
I don't like they're not bad by any means. I don't say they suck. It's just not something that I enjoy.
Yeah.
So
I can understand that.
And I'm the type of person that doesn't think every single video game has to be catered to me. There can be stuff out there that's really great that I have no interest in playing, and other people can enjoy it.
Yeah, like real-time strategy games. Get those the hell away from me. You can have them.
Everybody else can have those. I don't need them.
Or soccer games. Like,
I
like some sports games. Soccer games just don't do it for me.
I've tried FIFA and I just don't. It's just not for me.
Yeah, feel you.
This next question might be more directed at me. I don't know how much either of you have in this area, but Adam asked your favorite ROM hack.
Yeah, I've never really got into the ROM hack scene too much. Like most of I know about a lot of classic like NES and SNES ROM hacks, but I just never got around to playing them. I know yours is going to be Pokemon, whatever, Shining Platinum or whatever it was.
Close, Light Platinum, and yes,
Light
you're
Platinum.
Right. You are absolutely right. But also, I do want to give a shout out to Mario is on Drugs, which is hilarious. I think it's Super Mario RPG ROM hack, just hilarious.
I don't know that it's a ROM hack. It may have just been a standalone game. But when I was in high school, there was a Star Wars version of Age of Empires that I absolutely loved.
Oh, nice.
Like it was literally cool. Instead of the in Age of Empires, you were actual like countries of people. In this, you're like there's like you could be the Wookiees, you can be the Imperials, you can be the Rebel Alliance, and like I just remember there being like it's just so much fun to play. But then you could use cheat codes to get like the Death Star. Like I think you typed in "That's no moon" and you would just get a Death Star. So when I got bored of like building my city up, I would just get like 12 Death Stars and go just decimate the whole rest of the world.
Was that Empire at War? Star Wars Empire at War? Because I know that was an RTS game for Star Wars. It was like a city, not a city builder, but like, an Age of Empires-esque style game. See. Unless I'm remembering wrong. I have it up on my shelf up here. I could get up and get it, but my knees are killing me if I'm
don't honest. Just sit there, Dalton.
No, it was called Galactic Battlegrounds, maybe?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Galactic Battlegrounds.
Nice.
So it wasn't a ROM hack, it was an actual game, but yeah.
But still, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Some other shout outs to ROM hacks. Most and if not all of my favorite ROM hacks are Pokemon ROM hacks, but Pokemon Dark Rising 1, 2, and 3, fantastic. They're a bit harder than normal Pokemon games, but they're like well worth it. Like you said, Light Platinum is. I recommend anyone who's like, where should I start with Pokemon ROM hacks? I'm like, play Light Platinum first. Just trust me. There's Pokemon, I think it was called Cloud White, where you beat the first 8 gyms, and then there's like 9 other things that you have to do after that, and there's like samurai stuff in it, and there's was it Pokemon Adventure Red chapter or something like that? I don't know. There's one Pokemon ROM hack where you play as Ash and you play through the storyline of the anime.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool. And then you have like, there's some that I don't really play these much. I should, but there's like Pokemon Cops, CAWPS and stuff, and they're just like overly raunchy adult Pokemon games with a bunch of like dick and fart jokes and things like that. I tend not to recommend those to people because they're funny and everything, but they're not as well polished as the ones who like people took seriously.
Like I'll give a shout out to, I haven't played it, but I've heard of it. The Pokemon Team Rocket hack. Yeah. Where you actually play as Team Rocket, and when you defeat people, you can steal one of their Pokemon.
Yeah, that's a great one. It's a Team Rocket edition, I believe it's called. There's also 2 more that I'll bring up, and then we can move on to the next question. There's one that's called DBZ Battle Trainer, and instead of catching Pokemon, you catch Dragon Ball Z characters.
Nice.
And you train them up and fight with them. There's
I did
3.
think of 2 more.
There's a Pokemon style game where they did a ROM hack and made it Digimon instead, and that's pretty cool.
Nice.
And then there is I think it's called Shiny Gold Sigma. It's a ROM hack of Gold, but it puts like, at the time I think there were 786 Pokemon. So like that's a lot, and yeah, they put them all into this ROM hack. They're like, and they made sprites. Like some of these Pokemon don't have sprites because they came out in later generations, and they made sprites for them, and that's just super cool to me. But yeah, those are my ROM hacks. You said you had 2 more?
Yeah, N64 ones. The Mario 007 ROM hack, where it's GoldenEye, but it's all Mario characters. You play as Mario, and like all the Russian soldiers are like Koopas and stuff. If you haven't seen this, look it up. It looks absolutely amazing.
I need a Doom game like that.
And then there's a Dragon Ball kart racer ROM hack for Mario Kart 64, where you race as Dragon Ball Z characters.
Nice.
That's rad.
So yeah, there are 905 Pokemon currently. So next games come out, we'll be pushing us 1,000.
I should have done more research for this next question. I don't remember all of the starters from each generation. I guess that's a quick Google. But Fenris asks, what is your favorite starter Pokemon by each type? Or I guess let's just fire, water, and
fire, water, grass.
Right? Okay.
Fire, water, and grass, yeah.
I'm glad I read. I read over starter Pokemon the first time, and I was like, favorite Pokemon by each type.
That'd be a long question, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want me to start, I can. I know my 3.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So my first Pokemon, my first baby love. I'm reaching over to grab a plushie that you can't see because this is not a visual podcast. Bulbasaur.
Beautiful.
Good old Bulbasaur.
I love Bulbasaur. He was my first ever starter, and every time I get a chance to get him in a game, I still do. Love that guy.
Now, that reminds me of a funny joke I heard once. It's like, Pokemon should give you 3 save files per game. One for Charmander, one for Squirtle, and one for your other Charmander.
Oh, that's awful. Then my favorite water starter is Totodile. I love that stupid little alligator. Turns into fair alligator. Cool Pokemon. And then fire, this is the one I might catch some flack for. I really like the Litten line that ends in Incineroar. Incineroar is such a cool Pokemon, dude. I love the pro wrestler like gimmick he has with him. I just really like him a lot.
I do agree. He's a really cool, like, sort of a luchador style wrestler, yeah.
Like, the name Litten for a fire cat is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, litty like a kitty.
Yeah.
Let's see. Water for alligator. Gotta go. My first Pokemon game was Gold. My first starter was for alligator. Like, or Totodile, excuse me. So, like, I have mad love for, like that little alligator fucker. Like, I love him.
Yeah, he's great.
Grass. So, I'm gonna go Bulbasaur as well, but with a very close second being Rowlet.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because Rowlet's freaking adorable.
Yeah. I like Rowlet a lot. I don't like Decidueye all that much.
Yeah, I don't like his... Like, I love Rowlet, but I don't like his evolutions.
Yeah.
Give him that stone where he just stays as a cute little owl.
Yeah.
And then for fire, I might catch a little flack because I'm not picking Charmander either.
Nice.
I'm going to go Cyndaquil.
Yeah, Jeff's not going to be happy with us, Dalton.
No, I know, but like, dude, Typhlosion, like, for one, cool ass name.
Yeah.
And two, I just always pictured that thing being massive with a big fire mane, and it just looks badass. So I don't know.
I feel you.
And Cyndaquil's so cute. So, what about you, Jeremy?
So, I was, am, and always will be a Kanto boy. So, my top three are, of course, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. I will, however, in interest of this question, I will pick my second favorite three, not including them. Grass type, I got to go with Grookey.
Grookey's
cool. Love that little plant monkey.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. I remember when he first got announced, everybody was just like, "Grass monkey, that funky monkey." Fire, I'd probably go with Litten too, just because it's one of the cutest ones and it has one of the best evolutions.
Yep.
And then for water, I have to go Froakie. I really like Froakie for some reason.
The Greninja's really cool.
Froakie's a really cool design, but also Froakie in the anime is a badass. Like, gives no fucks whatsoever. That'd probably be my second favorites.
Dude, that Froakie is adorable. I've never seen this Pokemon before.
Oh, yeah. Froakie's awesome.
Yeah.
What gen was this?
This was Sun and Moon?
No.
X and Y.
Okay, I was going to say, I have Sun. And I don't ever remember this.
It might be X and Y.
I never played X and Y.
I'm bad with what generations to be honest.
Froakie was with Finnegan and Chespin.
I've never heard of them either. What the fuck?
One of my least favorite starter Pokemon ever.
I like Chespin's design. I absolutely despise the other two.
Yeah, Chestnut is the worst, dude.
Oh, Chespin. I thought you were saying Chessman, and I'm like, let's bring it up as cookies.
No.
Chespin. He looks... Oh, yeah, I saw y'all talking shit about him the other day.
Gen 6 Kalos region is where Froakie came from.
Yeah.
That's X and Y, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, those are the two games that I've never played. I've dabbled in all the other Pokemon generations. I've never played X and Y.
You know what's funny? I had Red and Blue as a kid, like when they came out.
Mm-hmm.
I got Red for my birthday, and I think I got Blue and a Game Boy Color for Christmas. Bought a link cable and just started filling Pokedex. I did not play another Pokemon game until X and Y came out.
Wow.
And then I played like X and Y. I played Sun and Moon. I played Sword and Shield next?
Yeah.
Like, the only one I haven't played that came out since then was Brilliant Diamond or Shining Pearl, the remakes.
Yeah.
Like, I played Let's Go and filled the Pokedex on that because, of course, Kanto region.
I got Shining Pearl, and I just did not like playing it anywhere near as much as I liked playing Shield, so...
Yeah. I loved Arceus.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for Scarlet and Violet.
Me too.
Ostara, who listens to YABSPOD, she's going to be listening to this episode because your boy is here. I'm bringing her into the fold.
Your boy Jeremy.
we already discussed it. Like, I'm gonna get Scarlet, she's gonna get Violet, so that way we can do like Pokemon swap. Because I told like my pure goal in Pokemon games is to catch them all. I want a full Pokedex. That's all I care about.
I mean, it's only been banged into our fucking head by the theme song for 20 years.
Yes.
Gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all. Pokemon.
Yeah. All right. So from Jeff, what was your favorite snack and drink that has since been discontinued?
I feel like y'all answered this several times on YABSPOD. Jeremy
we
misses
talked a lot
his
about
ravioli pies. We get it, Jeremy.
Yeah. Ravioli pies. I'm still like angry about that.
I know.
And the freaking Pop-Tarts. The like milk chocolate or whatever Pop-Tarts. The white chocolate fudge or whatever. Bring them back.
Yeah.
Jeff, stop asking so many snack questions, Jeff.
The man listens to your show. Bring my Pop-Tarts back. That's all I care about.
That's true. The man does.
And the ravioli pie. Bring those two back. That's all I need in life.
And then everyone knows mine is Vault soda and oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. It is Vault soda and the Rice Krispie treat cereal.
Yeah.
So what about you, Nate?
Yeah. So for me, I'm gonna have to say for snack, PB Crisps. Do you guys remember those?
Vaguely.
They were like the crispy shell that had like flavored peanut butter on the inside, and they were just so freaking good.
That does sound tasty.
Yeah, they were really good. And then drink. So this was a very early energy drink. It was like one of the first sodas I knew of that had guarana in it. It was called Josta.
I remember Josta.
Yeah, like it didn't last very long, but I used to love that stuff. Had like a Black Panther or Jaguar on its label.
You know what drink I would say?
What's that?
When I was in high school, I'll see if you guys can guess. We would buy these 20-ounce bottles of drink. Can't call it soda, it was drink.
Was that
every
those
day.
Fruitopias or?
Yes, Fruitopia. We bought Fruitopia every single day, but I found a bottle of it as an adult. I found it somewhere, bought it, and Jesus Christ, that stuff is gross.
It's so sweet, dude.
It's so much sugar in there. Like, I'm surprised it's not like a syrup instead of a liquid,
right?
Because of how much sugar they put into it. It's like they can keep that in the past. I don't need that anymore. But I did drink that literally every single day of high school.
And we wonder why we're all fat now.
Fruitopias, the rectangle pizza, and tater tots or crinkle cut fries every day.
All right, so Kana wants to keep up with the snack theme. What is your favorite snack to eat while gaming? I would say... So, I always tend to avoid potato chips because they get your hands all greasy, and I don't feel like using chopsticks to eat them and be fancy.
Yeah.
I like almonds.
Nice.
Peanuts, cashews, things like that, because it's a good salty or sweet, depending on what kinds you get, snack, and it's not going to oil up your hands a whole bunch. Yeah. So
I try not to eat too much while I'm playing games, but like if I'm playing like a JRPG or something where there's a lot of time reading stuff, I like to have some Chex Mix.
Yeah, Chex Mix is delicious.
Yeah, I'm like Nate. I try not to eat while I'm playing because I don't want to ruin the very expensive controllers these new consoles come with.
Yeah.
Right.
But like playing Judgment and playing Yakuza 0, I had that bag, which I talked about on YABSPOD, of the big Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah.
And I would just like crack that open and eat, 4 or 5 Sour Patch Kids while a cutscene was going on.
Dude, and I'm on my third one of these controllers too. Like, I don't need to ruin any more of these. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'm surprised mine's hung in there as long as it has. From Jeff, have you ever pulled a George Costanza and ate food while you were having sex?
No, there is only one thing I eat while having sex.
And that's ass, son.
Other side, brother. Come on.
See, I knew I would get eaten ass into this episode.
I think
not
you did
during
say that the other day,
sex
too.
that I know of. I can't recall eating during sex, but I did have a girlfriend in high school who I was watching a football game. This sounds like a dream come true, but she was a psychopath. She went in the kitchen, made me a sandwich, brought it to me, and gave me a blowjob while I was eating it. and watching football, which sounds like a dream come true for any man, but she was legitimately a psychopath. And I learned like the crazy ones are usually the most fun in bed. So.
The ones who do shit like that, yeah.
The Harley Quinns of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I say, you got to choose to fuck Harley Quinn because she's going to make you a sandwich and blow you while you're eating it. But then she's going to light your car on fire when you don't answer a text message at 3 a.m.
Yeah. I'm trying to think back because I don't mean to brag, but I've had a lot of sex. I don't think I've ever eaten food during it though. Like maybe chewed gum, but I don't know. I don't think I've ever eaten anything.
Put an ice cube in my mouth,
Like Nate said, technically I eat every time I have sex because I'm a giver. Yeah. So I'm going to get that out of the way first.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
I like to tell girls that I'm dating, like, when intercourse starts, if you're not already up 2-0 on the board, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, you need to be at least up 2-0 on the board. So
you only need to score once, Jeremy.
Yeah, I only get 1 point, but I like to make it a very lopsided victory for her. Usually aim for like the 12 to 15 mark.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
On that note, do you have a favorite bat gadget?
So mine's kind of basic.
Yes.
I think the one I would go with is just honestly the grappling hook. Like the one he shoots out because like just so useful. There's so many different uses for it, like just to travel and get somewhere fast like that. I dig it.
Yes, yeah. I do. And I'm going to call back to this week's episode of YABSPOD because I told Dalton he did not realize there was a Batman movie in 1966. Have you seen this movie, Nate?
Is this the one with the bomb scene where they run the bomb down the pier?
Yeah. He's like running, and like he runs, and there's like a mom with a stroller, and he runs somewhere else, and there's like a group of kids. He's like, oh, some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Yeah.
But no, there's a scene in that movie where they're in the Batcopter, and Batman like falls out, and he's like hanging by the what are the feet on a helicopter called?
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
Yeah, like the treads
or whatever.
They're over the water and a shark jumps up and bites Batman's leg. It's like he's hanging from a helicopter with a shark hanging off his leg. And he's like, quick, Robin, give me the bat shark repellent. And Robin like hands him an aerosol can. He sprays it on the shark and the shark just like fucks off.
Dude, Adam West Batman, dude, was something, man.
So bat shark repellent is my favorite bat gadget.
I feel you.
Just because I
like it.
It's so ridiculous.
I can't top that. But I was
just going to say, have to watch that movie, Dalton. Yeah. You have to watch it. It's so campy and cheesy. It's hilarious.
I was going to say just like the remote batarangs, but now I feel like bat shark repellent probably.
Dude, there's a scene in that movie where I want to say part of the plot is, I think it's the Riddler is trying to Riddler or Joker's trying to rob a bank, and basically he uses a dehydration ray on his henchmen and turn them into dust, and then he's gonna put the dust in the vault, and then they'll rehydrate them and they'll come back as the henchmen and get all the money out of the vault. So he does the rehydration or the dehydration ray, and so the people are going to disappear. You can very clearly see where the cell where they had filmed the people and then they cut the people out of a strip of film and put them on top of another strip of film of the room they were in so that they could remove those pieces of the people. You could see the outlines of the film where they jaggedly cut it out. It's because it's in 66, so it's the best they could do. Yeah. It's just, that movie is so great. It's an instant classic.
And that question was from Kana. And then the final question is, do you have a favorite Batman villain? Nate,
very much so.
I'm sure we know that. I'm going to guess that yours is Condiment Man. It has to be. No, I'm sure it's I Still Meet You, Baby. Right?
Yeah, everyone knows that I'm a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. And then just the fact that he played Mr. Freeze, and Mr. Freeze has this great origin story and is a great villain overall, where he's kind of more of a torn kind of he's doing things because of tragedy that happened in his life with Nora, his wife, and he ends up being helpful in some situations too. He's just one of the more complicated villains, and I really like that about him. And the Arnold Schwarzenegger representation was hilarious. Come on.
Yeah. But his suit in that movie was on point.
Yeah.
Like his portrayal was a little ridiculous. That whole movie was a little ridiculous.
It was camp. It was campy as hell.
Yeah. And the reason that happened was Tim Burton did the first 2 movies, and the first 2 movies were dark.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't selling a lot of toys. So Warner Brothers was like, we're not selling toys. We're getting rid of Tim Burton. We want to make these movies more family friendly. And, you end up with that.
Yeah. My wife still says her favorite Batman's Michael Keaton.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the suit with the nipples?
No, that's
Clooney.
Yeah, it's Clooney.
Oh, okay.
Batman Forever.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
No, Batman and Robin.
Oh, you're right. It is Batman and Robin. Forever's Kilmer. You're right.
Yeah. Forever's Kilmer and who was the bad guy in that movie?
Two-Face, right?
Harvey Dent?
Yeah, that was...
Yeah, it was Harvey Dent, Two-Face, yeah. The Tommy Lee Jones.
Yep.
I think my favorite Batman villain is heavily based on the actor that I saw play him at one point. It's Riddler, man.
Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey is the Riddler.
If you like Riddler, watch The Batman, the new one. Paul Dano does an absolutely amazing job.
I need to see that still.
Oh, he kills it. It's on HBO Max now, and you can watch it. It's long as hell, but man, it is.
That's the thing
so
that stops
good.
me from watching the Joker and the Batman is because they're just so damn long, and I have trouble sitting still for that long.
The good thing about like streaming is you can watch like half of it and then come back later and watch the other half. But like both of those movies are 1,000% worth watching. As far as my favorite villains, I don't like saying the Joker, but I love the Joker because he has no motive. Mm-hmm. He's just wants to watch the world burn. Yeah, he just wants chaos. And like, there's been multiple times where people have been like, I can tell you Batman's identity, and he just kills them. Like in The Dark Knight where like The Dark Knight where that guy goes on a talk show. He's like, I'm going to tell you who Batman's identity. And Joker's like, I'll give $1 million whoever brings me this guy's head. Because he's like, I don't want to know. I don't care. Yeah. I just want to fight Batman.
Yeah, he likes the fun. Bats. Joker is a great villain. Like, it's impossible to deny he's like one of the greatest comic book villains of all time. Like, there's a reason he's in so much stuff,
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
But other than Joker, I would say I love Bane.
Yeah.
Bane's an amazing enemy. But I also really love Killer Croc.
Yeah. Those are good.
Because Killer Croc, just, he was like a scientist who was in a freak accident, and he kind of just wants to be left alone, and people just keep fucking with him. Like, he's like, I just want to live in the sewers and just be a crocodile and just be left alone. And, like, people just won't leave him alone.
Yeah.
But I hated his portrayal in that Suicide Squad movie because that was not at all the comic book Killer Croc. That was just absolute garbage.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, I had a list pulled up, but we are running a bit long.
Yeah, this is super long.
So,
giveaway?
Yeah, this show is typical YABSPOD fashion leaking in. Yeah, we are going to get to the giveaway right now.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we have the games lined up. I have names lined up. And we're going to run them one by one.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm going to pull them, like you pull the first, I'll pull the next, and we'll just go down the line.
That works for me.
Say the game first, and then the name of the winner.
Yeah. Okay, so the first game is The Dark Eye Demonicon. And I believe that is an RPG. So let me hit the little run button here real quick. Number, all right. And it looks like, all right, Dane is the winner of the first game, and that is The Dark Eye Demonicon. Also, I guess we should preface, once you hear this, message one of us, and we'll get the key to you. Whichever
one of us, just message one of us, we'll send it to you. We both have the keys. Ready?
Yeah.
We might not be able to get them to you immediately, because we might be busy, but we'll get them to you that day.
Don't message me, though, because I'll just ask you for money.
Oh, yeah, don't message Jeremy. Never message Jeremy.
No, never, ever. It's a bad idea.
All right. So the next one we have to give away is Torchlight. All right. And that's kind of like Diablo-esque fun little game. So let me run the randomizer on this one. Doop, doop, doop. Hey, this one's going to our good friend Arizaratum.
Arizaratum. All right, Torchlight. I feel like he'll like that.
I think so too.
I feel like he'll like that.
I think so.
All right. Up next, The Flame and the Flood, which I think is like a roguelike game where you're going down a river and you have to like survive, and there's like some, I think maybe a little horror element to it. I could be wrong. Let's see. I can count down. Ooh, Stephanie.
Ah, nice.
Miss Stephanie, I don't even know if she'll listen to this. I might just have to message her, but we'll see. If Stephanie, if you hear this, you won the Flame of the Flag. Congratulations.
All right. We have a real winner, a real big, good game for this next one. It's not the grand prize, but I think this one is definitely worth writing home about. So up next, we have Garfield Kart Furious Racing. So let's roll the randomizer on this one.
It's funner than it sounds.
Yeah, so it's a great game. So Steamy, what do we got? I love who's getting this. This
Who?
Garfield Kart Furious Racing is going to good friend of the show, Jeremy.
Nice.
Awesome. Dude, honestly, it's a fun fucking game.
We'll have to play it together sometime for real.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
It's way more. It's like such a good kart racer. I don't know. It's janky in the best possible.
Yeah.
All right, this is small text. Let me zoom in. Ukulele and the Impossible Lair up next. So let's run Steamy and count Laxby.
All right.
All right, dude. You get Ukulele and the Impossible Lair. I hope you enjoy that, brother.
Hell yeah. Next up, we have Rebel Galaxy. So let's roll the randomizer on this one, see who's coming up. Hey, this one's going to our good buddy, Cthusiast Jeff. Jeff, you are the proud new owner of Rebel Galaxy.
That's rad. Like, I didn't have any choices of like who was going to get what, but like when we were deciding what keys to give away, and we picked Rebel Galaxy as one of them. In my brain, I was like, I hope Jeff gets that because
that's awesome.
Jeff loves space. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's badass.
He's our space boy.
He is. So up next is a game that I know Nate has played and had a bunch of keys for, so we decided to chuck it up on here.
Hell
and that
yeah.
is Hob.
Yeah, it's a cool game. It's kind of like Legend of Zelda-like. So whoever gets this one, hopefully you like Zelda games.
All right, so let's see. Brian.
Hey,
Brian. All right. So you get Hob, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I don't know much about it, but like Nate said, if you like Legend of Zelda games, maybe you'll dig it.
All right. Next up, we have Gone Home. Isn't that kind of visual novel-y?
Gone Home, I think, was one of the first quote-unquote walking simulator games that came out.
That's right.
It was like Gone Home, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, and there was like What Remains of Edith Finch. I think those were the three.
Yeah. All right, let's roll for this one. All right. And this one is going to Kana. Wait, did I read the right? Yeah, this one's going to Kana. Sorry, I got confused for a second.
All right. Kana with the Gone Home. So, walk on home, girl. And then from there, so the keys are stepping up a little bit now. And I want to give a shout out. Nate provided these next three keys. I mean, we both provided some of the other ones, but like Nate specifically got these for this giveaway.
Yeah.
So up next we have Grim Dawn, which is a game that we have played for the show. Surprisingly, one of our most listened to episodes.
Yeah.
It's like it's in our top 5, and I'm just like, hell yeah, good for you, Grim Dawn. So let's see who's gonna get Grim Dawn. I'm gonna hit the randomize button a few times. Arisa Adam getting Grim Dawn.
Nice.
Man, what the fuck are the odds of that? That he ended up with 2 of the RPG games. Dude, listen, Adam, I have Torchlight and I have Grim Dawn. I know that we managed to play some Hyperdimension Neptunia's Neptune versus Zombies or whatever the hell that game is together. Let's play some Grim Dawn or Torchlight, bro. Let's do it because it's fun.
Hell yeah.
I love both those games. They're fantastic. But you know me, Diablo games. I'm all about them. Or Diablo style games, I mean. So go ahead and tell people what's up next, my brother.
All right. Next one we got was Legends of Heroes Trails in the Sky. This is one that I am still going to finish soon, but very loved game. Very good for the show. Like, Dalton, I know you love this game like no other.
It's tremendous.
And I've been enjoying it a lot too. So let's go ahead and roll this one a couple times like Dalton did for Grim Dawn. Okay. This one's going to Kana.
Hey! Hell yeah. Listen, I want to take bets right now. Kana plays this game. How long till we get Estelle? And it's just like Estelle emojis and things. Like, I think I feel like Kana's going to fall in love with Estelle. That's awesome.
I think so.
Hell yeah. And then the final one, I'm going to let you run this final one because you got these keys, and this is the big one.
Yeah, this is the big boy. We're finally rolling for Spider-Man.
Spider-Man remastered for PC.
Yeah. So Woo! It's a good one. Real good one. So we'll roll this one. Drum roll. And this one is going to Brian.
Brian. All right. Brian getting Spider-Man.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, hell yeah. So if you won a game, if you entered, hit us up. We'll give you a key or 2 keys in some cases.
Right.
Just let us know, man. And thank you all for like listening. That's why we did this, is because we finally got to that 10 5-star reviews on iTunes. And like just so many of y'all have been joining the Discord, and it's become such a cool fucking community. And like I get messages from people who have joined who are just like, it's such a welcoming and nice place to be. And that warms our hearts to hear.
Yeah. And that's even with Jeremy being a part of it. So like,
yeah, and then they say, "Oh look, a YABSPOD channel." Oh my eyes! Oh.
Yeah, it's the only channel in our Discord that's 18 plus is the YABSPOD show chat. Just in case. Yeah. But man, thank you all for listening. And whether you listen to Steam Machine, YABSPOD, anything under our umbrella, dude, yeah, y'all rock. We really do appreciate you guys. With that being said, the only thing left is to announce the next game and then do some house cleaning. So, Nate, you want to announce the next game? You want me to do it?
I'll go ahead and do it. Just don't think it should be any big surprise, but just gave out a Steam key for this game. We're going to go ahead and do Spider-Man next for the next episode. Spider-Man Remastered for the PC. Yeah. 3 of us have it too, and it'll feel nice to do a relatively brand new game for once on the show. So,
yeah, and when you had decided to, we wanted to hop into Spider-Man next, I told you, I said, as much as you want to probably try Spider-Man, I said, wait till you are done with Arkham City.
Yeah. Because
you're going to have to learn a new reverse button all over again because it's B and not Y. And I still hit Y when I try to do it. So.
And I will tell you, in Spider-Man, like Batman, if you don't learn how to dodge and stuff, it's not that big of a deal. Spider-Man, if you don't learn how to dodge and parry, you are going to get your ass handed to you later on in the game. Like, yeah, there's some enemies you have to learn how to do that stuff, and if you don't, you're just going to get bodied in the end game.
Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to it because it's just such a fun game.
Speaking of, I played it when it first came out on PS4. I think I beat it in like 2 or 3 days. 100% of everything. I played Miles Morales, but I didn't buy the remaster because at the time it came out, I didn't have a PS5. I have a PS5 now, but I'd already beaten both games. I was like, meh. Well, Sunday, somebody brought in a PS5 in the store to trade in with a stack of games, and the Miles Morales Ultimate Edition was in there with the Spider-Man Remastered. The code is still in there, but I don't know if it's any good, so I'm going to bring it home, and if it's still good, I'm going to download it and try the remastered version.
Hell yeah.
I have to beat Judgment first because I'm sick of conflicting combat styles.
Yeah, for real, man.
Yeah. I really, I've been playing Spider-Man a little bit, in my free time, which has become a lot less, but is going to go back to normal a little bit here soon. But it is just so fluid and fun and so pretty. I have to say though, and I'll bring this up more on the actual episode. When I was playing, I had ray tracing on, and it was pretty choppy when I was swinging around. And then I turned ray tracing off. A smooth, buttery 60 frames at all times. So just to tell you that ray tracing is a big pull on your graphics card.
Yeah.
Now, I know on PS5, I don't know if the PC port has it, there's a way to run ray tracing with almost like a frame rate stabilizer. So you can run ray tracing but still have a smooth frame rate. Nice. I don't know if they're doing that on PC or not.
NVIDIA cards have a thing called DLSS, which kind of does that.
Yeah.
But
I think PS5 has DLSS as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a magical thing. But even with that, it was still chugging to pull in ray tracing off all the windows and stuff. It was just...
But man, with ray tracing on in that game, it looks so damn gorgeous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I like to turn it on and then take my screenshots, and then I'll kick it back off. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, then that just leaves the housekeeping. If you would like to check us out on Facebook, you can find us at facebook.com/groups/the Steam Machine Podcast Lounge, or just the Steam Machine Podcast page. I'm not super active on there. I do try to be, but you might as well just join the Discord at this point. Which is bit.ly/TSMP Discord.
All caps.
Because, all caps. And it's much less shitty than Twitter and Facebook.
Right.
as a general whole. And then also check us out if you like to support the show. Please check us out over at patreon.com/the Steam Machine Podcast, with an extra special shout out to Nate Sir Cogsworth, the 7th of Juniper, Jeff, the original expendable Mr. Syllables, old Jeffy Lube himself, Eraser Adam. Shout out to his podcast, Revival and Extinction, James, the Steam Machine Hall, Monitor Hall, and Team Retrogue. Go check out him on YouTube. You guys thuggin' rock, and we appreciate you guys very much. On the Patreon, you get your episodes early. As soon as I'm done recording, I might go ahead and upload them to the Patreon, so you can just check it out whenever. And also, like, I do some extra stuff on every now and then. I do, like, music episodes, and I'll probably... I haven't gotten to it yet, but I would like to start playing some of the more adult games that I don't believe that Willie and Nate would enjoy as much as I do. So I might do some solo episodes on the Patreon talking about those, and I know at least Connor will enjoy hearing about them. But yeah, man. Other than that, I think I covered everything. Check out YABSPOD, yet another BS podcast that me and Jeremy host weekly. It is we just shoot the shit and answer fan questions, and we've been getting more and more questions, and it's been wonderful. It's been a blast.
Oh, speaking of YABSPOD, you have tryptophobia, right? Does this tattoo bug you?
Actually, no, that's not bad.
Okay.
Because that looks like a bite mark to me. That doesn't look like just like
holes
in your skin. Like, it doesn't look like worms are going to crawl out of that at any time.
Well, if it was easier for me to show you, I actually have a hole on my arm, and it grosses me out, so I'm pretty sure it would gross you out.
Probably would.
Like, I had something like a pencil lead or something stuck in it forever, like from middle school to like my 20s. And like when I was getting tattoos, I was like, what is that? And I just started like aggressively scrubbing and scraping at it, and it came out, but there was this like perfectly formed little hole of skin where it like had grown around it. And I was just like, huh! And my tattoo artist saw it, and he was like, huh! And like, it just grossed everybody that saw it out. So it's bad. I hate it.
And you can also check me out on the JRPG Report Weekly JRPG news show, where it's a family friendly podcast. I actually don't cuss on that one, if you can believe it. And I just talk about the news and stuff. This is gonna be a big week. There's been some serious JRPG news that has come out in this past week, so nice. I'm looking forward to doing that episode tomorrow. But on that note, gentlemen, we've been here a while. So for Nate, is there anything else that you guys would like to say here at the end?
No, I got nothing to advertise this time. Listen to the YABSPOD, hear more Jeremy.
Yeah, hear me. It's way worse than this.
I was absolutely.
I was pretty PG-13 on this episode, but you're going to get like the NC-17 over there.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. We only brought up eating ass once.
Yeah, one time. And that would not have happened, I believe, if I had not been here.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But yeah, on that note, from one half of the Destructo Bros, Nate, and my buddy Jeremy from YABSPOD, thank you for listening. Jeremy, thank you for joining us for this episode.
Sure thing.
And we will catch you in 2 weeks for some Spider-Man.
Woo.
And remember, with great power comes great responsibility. And now you know. Take it easy, everybody.